after everything that's happened so far, where would you have Zoro right now in terms of the entire One Piece world?
I wouldn't put him top 10, but probably somewhere between top 20, top 15.
Okay. I think I think that I'd probably be inclined to agree because if we just think about it, he has no control over whatever he just did realistically. Like, yes, he was able to do it, but that doesn't mean that he can replicate it like just effortlessly. And if we're taking just even just what Rayleigh said in the past, like uh King's Haki is the hardest one to train and control. Um so I definitely don't know when that type of training will occur. If it'll just kind of be like one of those
I don't think it's gonna be a thing. I don't think it's gonna be a training thing. I think whenever he wakes up, he'll have an immediate grasp on it.
you
Maybe
think
not.
that's what I was
It's
gonna
not
say.
gonna
That's what I was gonna
be.
say. Like,
It's not gonna be as good as Luffy's, but he'll have a grasp on. He'll have a grasp on how to use it.
yeah, because we never saw, I mean, until recent, we never saw Luffy
And
really
he
train
already.
his.
Yeah. And Zoro already knows how to use his advanced conqueror's hockey now. That was one of the thing giving full hockey to your blade. That was the key to him unlocking and being able to use it at will. So I think he does know how to control it. I don't like I said, I don't think he's as good as Luffy, but I do think I think he does know what the trigger is to use his shit.
Um, I feel like if you're looking at from an instance of like similar to like when Luffy was kind of like going towards Color's Haki in the Katakuri fight, you can kind of compare that fight in terms of like Haki wise with this fight that Zoro just had and him being able to access that. But Luffy was not able to replicate that yet, despite being able to do it in the fight with Katakuri. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's because at the time, Whole Cake Zoro is stronger than Whole Cake Island Luffy. The whole concept was very brand new to Luffy at the time. But like I said, whereas Luffy had to train to unlock his advanced conquerors, Zoro just unlocked it. That's not saying it. That's not downplaying Luffy, but that's how Oda wrote it. That's how he specifically wrote it. We didn't Zoro didn't have to train for his, he just unlocked it. It was a whenever he used Ashura against Kaido, at that point he had already used whatever he had left. You remember he was like, if you want my captain's head, take my head first. That was like his killing blow. Like his last resort move. That's all it took for him to unlock his.
But that's what I'm saying. Like in that situation, it was like last ditch effort. This is like if this doesn't work, it's done. Like so, and I get what you're saying. It's like similar to when you do something, at least with certain characters, they kind of grasp it after they've done it, even if they didn't recognize in the moment. They kind of like think back to it or and whatnot, and then it's like easier for them to do, or it's something that like doesn't really get explained. Like I mean, this happens in other series too. Um, I mean, the most prevalent series that shit like that happens in is like fucking DBZ. I mean, that gets explained, but like the most prevalent series is like that. I mean, you also see it in things like Naruto and stuff like that too, when they experience a fight or go through a fight, even if they didn't really train it or whatever, just by visually seeing it or experiencing it or feeling it, it kind of allows them to do it in some aspect. Um, but I personally don't think that that means that he'll be able to do it at will.
I heavily disagree with you.
I mean, I understand. I know where you stand with Zoro, so like I kind of expect that.
Only reason why I say that is because he learned what he needed to do. That he literally learned what he needed to do that. Give his sword all of his hockey.
Yeah, I mean, he does have the demon blades, so I guess and this is kind of different, right?
Yeah, but I don't think that just refers to. He didn't just use advanced conqueror's hockey on Enma. Enma is what taught him how to do it. because it sucked up his hockey. But that's not the only blade that he can do it on. Now he can do it on all three of his blades.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. But all his blades, well, two of his blades are created by the same person. And I
Oh yeah,
wasn't saying that like by him, but that it was because of Enma. What I'm saying is that he has demon blades, which
yep,
suck haki, which majority of people do not have any type of sword that does that. So it's not that like it allowed him to be able to do it, but I definitely made it easier for him to do it because he has something to channel it into, and
yeah.
it also wants it anyway. Like it was like fucking taking it from him, even though he wasn't trying to give him as much as he was taking at the time. Like you saw multiple times within the fight, he kept taking more than what he was trying to give him, and it was kind of like messing up the fight for him.
Hmm.
Um, so me personally, I don't know if it'll be something that he'll be able to do on command, but I do think in time it'll be something that he can do on command. But again, who knows what's gonna happen after this arc? We still don't even. This next chapter is gonna be absolutely insane. So, and I think that where it progresses after this is going to be the most important part because I think after every arc, you kind of get to see like if there's going to be like a drastic change in power, right? Like when they went to Zoe, you didn't really expect, at least like once you start getting into the arc, you didn't really expect, at least to me, because they were mainly there and it was kind of like how we discussed before, info dumps in a lot of ways where like it's a lot of information involving the story and uh history and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
But it wasn't like one of those islands where you know that they're going to get into a big fight. Like when you go and watch Dressrosa and they're dealing with Doflamingo, you know that there's going to be a fight, and you know that like you get what I'm saying, like that you know that there's going to have to be some semblance of like power up or something, right? So I think, yeah, this upcoming chapter is going to be insane. So like I said, I think that it depends a little bit on like what's going to happen the next arc and whatnot. I think that this arc is really about to be over. Probably has a few more chapters. Uh, well, actually, I don't know if it would just be a few more now because with everything going on with the Navy, who knows what's going to happen. It'd be
It's
interesting.
wrapping up though,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
it's
making.
definitely wrapping up. But what I mean is, so similar to like, I don't know if Marineford is a great example, but similar to in the past, like the Marines are surrounding them. They have them surrounded, whatever. And but there's a lot of people that are very aware of what's going on in Wano right now. Like not just the Navy. There are a lot of like high-ranking people, like including like Shanks and all these people that know exactly what's happening on Wano right now, right?
Mhm.
So who knows if there's going to be something else that like works in tangent with the fact that the Marines are like surrounding them, yada yada yada, and maybe something else comes after the fight, right? Um, because you don't. I just at this point you never know who's gonna show up. You never know who's gonna show up. So I don't know if it's just gonna be them dealing with the Marines after, but everything is pointing to the fact that the Marines know exactly the issue with Luffy and trying to kill him, which is what the CP9 dude tried to do. Um, was given they were given that order because they know what Luffy will become, and we just saw it. I mean, we haven't even seen anything yet. I honestly think that this power up is going to be absolutely insane, and whatever we think it is right now is just not even on the same scale. Um, because even just from the last few pages in the last chapter, you saw what him having full freedom allowed him to be able to do in terms of his devil fruit. So
Mhm.
Kaido was already having issues, and now if he's able to use everything just free willingly and to be able to uh switch in between forms quickly and without any drawback or anything like that, I honestly think that like he's going to be a major problem. Like,
Yeah, nah, for sure.
but to go back to Zoro, We got a little off topic there. I'm not gonna lie. I do think that Zoro is definitely number two, not even close in the Straw Hats.
Supernova.
Yeah, well, and I guess we could say Supernova. Yeah, 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 yeah. But I was just saying just
I
the
mean, it
Straw
was
Hats.
already
But
a
yeah,
given that he was number 2 in Stride, though. Like that,
yeah,
I don't see how someone could honestly argue that. No disrespect to Sanji, but no disrespect to Sanji, but this kind of goes back to it has to do with ambitions and kind of advanced conquer soccer, right? Sanji's ambitions is not to really be a fighter. Like, hey, what his ambitions line up to are to wasn't it to basically explore the East Blue?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, basically, to make every type of food that's ever existed, but
Yeah,
specifically the
like that
East
his
Blue because
your
it's such a
ambitions
difficult.
have to line up. I feel like your ambitions have to line up in order for you to be any strong. Like, not saying Sanji can't get any stronger, but I don't see first and foremost. There's a chance that he could get Conqueror's Haki, but he's definitely not getting advanced. I don't see a
I
reason
could
for
see
him to
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't. I definitely don't think that they're just gonna start handing out Conqueror's Hockey like advanced. But I will
have. Yeah.
say, in terms of Sanji, maybe I just didn't really. Maybe I have to go back and reread it. But I didn't fully grasp what was occurring with him and his
What,
Germa.
whenever he was fighting Queen?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because Zoro had his awakening, and like, yes, like in black and white, it's a little bit hard to tell that like and
Oh,
whatnot
you
in
talking about
color.
that lightning thing? That lightning thing that came out of Sanji, that white lightning?
I think so. Like I said, in black and white,
Um,
it's a lot difficult to like actually. In color, it's a little bit easier to like
yeah.
differentiate that kind of stuff. But
Okay, so that was a big discussion. But to be honest with you, if it was truly Conqueror's Hockey, I'm pretty sure Queen would have recognized it. Same way that King was able to recognize
no, yeah,
Zoro
yeah, yeah,
using
yeah, hundred
advanced
percent, hundred
Conqueror's
percent, hundred
Haki.
percent.
I'm pretty sure if it truly was Conqueror's Haki, Queen would have been able to recognize it and he would have at least acknowledged it.
But that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean that he had Conqueror's Haki or something like that. What I meant was it wasn't really defined what it was, right? Because he's supposed to be a
Android cyborg type
something
motherfucker.
like he's supposed to. I mean, at this point we've presumed that he's only human, and like the Germa stuff was pretty not recent, but the Germa stuff was like very deep in, and nothing. I mean, when he wore the suit you could see him doing some stuff, but like it seemed after he took it off and he kept saying that his body was feeling weird and all this some kind of stuff that maybe it was assimilating into him or something, or like it was like the fact that he kept using the suit started to awaken something within him, and the fact that this guy was not only a scientist, right, that studied all of Germa's science and all that different kind of stuff, and Sanji, despite dipping and just leaving, like he was supposed to be like this marriage that was supposed to be good for them between the two big families, and he was like, yes, he was like a castaway, but he was still regarded as someone like you know what I mean, like he like people know who the fuck, like they know who he is, like you know my
Yeah.
name, like you know why I'm here, right? Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
but we never know if like he has any abilities that we're unaware of that could be extremely strong. Like what if he is able to like go invisible in the way that like his suit allows him to go into, like without needing the suit? Like these things would make him. I'm not gonna say that they would put him over Zoro in any way. I'm not saying that, but what I will say is they make him significantly stronger,
Yeah,
right?
they would make him significantly stronger, but to be honest, I don't see that. Only reason why I don't see that happening with him being able to gain invisibility and everything is because that I don't I don't think that really fits into his like play style of fighting. Like as you can see, he barely liked using the suit as it was. Right? He wanted to. The whole reason why he stopped using the suit is because he said that he wanted to craft his own path and be an individual rather than just
No,
using
yeah, he didn't want to be some
the suit.
experiment or some shit like no, no, no,
No,
I
no, no,
100%.
no, 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 huh, but what I'm saying is, Sanji's whole thing isn't really power. I feel like his whole thing is speed. He's more of a speed type character rather than having power, right? And invisibility has nothing to do with power, but it has nothing to do with speed either. I don't really see him being able. I don't really see them putting an emphasis on him having invisibility when Shiryu is right there.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, yeah, but also in some senses, it could still make sense even if Shearer is there, because then that would be someone that can combat him in the fact that
Yeah,
they're
but that's
both.
not his fight. That's not his fight though.
Whose fight do you think it'll be?
That's Zoros because he's first captain versus first captain,
Okay, fair enough. I guess
and
so
they're both
far,
swordsmen.
I guess so far we've definitely seen it be pretty
Yeah, it's
much
first
it's how
captain
it
versus
follows.
first captain, and swordsman versus swordsman.
I don't know. I'm not. I want to wait. Yeah. I'm sure the anime will explain it more. Yeah, probably, or maybe it'll be a little bit easier to understand in the anime once it's animated. But I just don't want to write Sanji off. Yeah, I think there's more to it.
Nah, there's not. It's nothing right about writing Sanji. I don't think. I don't think Sanji is done. He still hasn't figured out what he fully is.
Yeah, yeah,
The
exactly,
whole thing with
exactly.
flame coming out of his leg, that shit was only partially explained. I don't think he's done in terms of power level. But like I said, with the conversation of advanced conquerors hockey, I can't really consider someone I can't consider someone in the same realm as Kaido, Shanks, Big Mom, Mihawk, Luffy, Zoro if you don't have advanced conquerors hockey. That is the end all be all. Like said being of being the strongest. Goldie Roger reached his peak with advanced conquerors alone. He didn't even have a devil fruit.
Yeah, you know what? Like in terms of that, though, I definitely agree. Like there's really no discussion to be had there. There's no combating that, because like as you saw with Kaido, and I'm sure you'll see with other people as the story goes on, you can't even hurt Kaido if you can't use that.
Exactly.
Like there's no
And
I mean,
that's why Oda set it up the way he did for Kid and Law to fight Big Mom. Because if you think about it, I'm not downplaying them. But without advanced conquerors hockey, they're not gonna be any help in that fight against Kaido.
what's good, MCR?
The only people that could have actually stood on that roof and done something to Kaido was Luffy, Zoro, and Yamato. Those are the three people. I
But
also
Yamato's
forgot
gonna be
about
a strong
Yamato.
ass
She has
addition.
advanced. Yeah, obviously, her fucking dad is a Yonko,
Yeah, yeah,
but she
yeah.
has advanced conquerors hockey too. So although she's not a supernova, I automatically put her ahead of Law and Kid too. I still think there is a chance. I still think there is a chance that Kid could get it, but I think Law, because his devil fruit is already so dumb strong, I don't think they really need to give him advanced
But even if
conquerors.
he gets advanced hot conquerors hockey, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be stronger than somebody else's advanced conquerors hockey,
No,
right? So that
it's
kind of
not,
like makes
but
it so that it
it's
could be possible. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that
no,
like
no, yeah,
from
it
our
could be possible, but I don't think it will happen because, like I said, if these guys were going to have conquerors hockey, this was truly the fight for the shit to bloom. Everybody was pushed to their limits this hard. There was not a single person that was not
Nami
pushed
got
to
a
their
huge power up.
exactly.
Nami got a
All the
huge power up.
supernovas, everybody that was on that roof was pushed to their absolute limits, and you're crazy if you don't think they were pushed to their absolute limits.
Yeah,
That's
well,
why I don't think. That's why I don't think Law and Kid have it because, like I said, even if they did tag team Big Mom, they still didn't even like they beat her, but it wasn't a traditional win. They didn't knock her out. They knocked her. They pushed her off of the island, right?
yeah.
In terms of like in terms of like all the fights we've seen in One Piece, usually when someone really loses, they're usually knocked out. Like they're unable to keep fighting. Like you could say she's unable to keep fighting, but it wasn't by like the standard terms
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah, no, she's definitely not done. I agree.
yeah, exactly. So
But hold
with
on, hold
that
on.
being said,
Okay, okay.
these guys didn't put like these guys being at their limits, they still didn't we still didn't see any semblance of advanced conquerors hockey.
And but in terms of like, all right, so Zoro had his awakening, right? And
Partially. I still
partially.
think
So
there's more.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My thing is, all right, so he has two demon blades right now by the same creator, which honestly was great. I would say great writing. Would it have been cool to have like sometime in the flashback before, like some random passing discussion that he had with some older guy in the past, like in a chapter earlier on. Maybe I forget. I'm forgetting about it, but I mean, I don't think so. But would it have been cool if there was like some flashback where he did have a conversation or like some interaction with that person, and then that would have made it like where now it does make in my opinion a little bit more like it would have made it a little bit better in my opinion. But I will say that the fact that the town is named that, all that kind of stuff, it kind of was, in my opinion, it was great. But that's only two of his three blades, right? So
Mhm.
you could, and this is just a crazy idea. I don't know if this probably won't happen, but you could say that his other blade could become and could be the Supreme Black Blade.
Which one? Wado Ichimonji?
Um,
The very first blade, the only blade that didn't break against Mihawk. Are you
yeah, yeah,
talking about
yeah,
that one?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
Would
one
it?
that he got from the one that was originally Kuina's.
Yeah, 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 because that wasn't the sword from the blacksmith, right? That wasn't that
No,
sword. No,
that
no, no,
was
no, no. That was
no.
the other one. That was the other one. Okay.
Wado Ichimonji was the only
Yeah,
sword that didn't break, and that was the original sword that he had that didn't, or that was the only that was the sword that was originally Kuina's that was passed down to Zoro once she
yeah.
passed
Once
away,
she
and he
passed
couldn't
away,
leave.
I could believe that if you really wanted Zoro to be like that dude, right? Especially as the story goes on, and just like really like, I mean, it's kind of set up so that Zoro and Luffy will be the top two. It's kind of like it's just obvious, but and I think that giving him a Supreme Black Blade, and I think it has to be Watto
Yeah,
because
that only
I
makes
don't
sense.
see
That's
why it
the
would be a
sword that
Demon
didn't
Blade or
break.
anything like that. I think that it would have to be Watto, and I think it would make the most sense because of like just the meaning of it, right? Like his thing was to become the best swordsman. He promised her, like she passed away. That was his goal. Like
And that was the sword that showed a true unbreakable will when Mihawk broke all of his other blades. In that clash, that's the only blade that did not break. And it would,
yeah,
if you think about it, it would make sense because, like I said, honestly, I do see. So with Zoro basically trading in Shisui for Enma, he's going to get Shisui back. I think you know that too. There's too many things that point to Shisui being his blade and and Enma going back to Momonosuke. It's all about what's it called? Fuck. There's a word. It's not entitlement. There's a word for it. But
wait,
my
what are you trying to
personal
say?
I think that Zoro is not going to keep Enma. I think Enma is a training lesson for Zoro to unlock his advanced Conqueror's Haki, right? Obviously, I'm not saying he's done with the blade. There's much more. There might be a little more to do, but I don't think there's much left. Shisui belongs to Zoro. With Ryuma looking
Yeah, Shisui
like,
he got that blade like he didn't like go grave rob like he
yeah,
got that.
even if Shisui
Yeah,
belongs to,
birthright.
yeah,
Yeah.
even if it does belong to Wano, Ryuma looks like Zoro. They're related in some way that we'll probably find out
Yeah,
later. I
and
don't
they
know if
mentioned it.
yeah, they're Oda wrote a whole.
I don't know if they'll be related. I
No,
mean,
no, they are 100% related because they look alike.
true, but
Wait, wait, hold on.
didn't they say where his origin was already? Like the
No,
town? Didn't they say
no.
that he was from Wano? Was he not?
Yeah, but Zoro's heritage also comes from Wano. You don't remember that chapter with you don't remember that, although we don't know if it's confirmed that that guy that Yamato was locked up in that cave with is Zoro's father. They all look alike. They are
I
all
mean, okay,
related.
yeah, I get what you're
No, no,
trying.
but
I get
it
yeah,
goes
yeah.
far. It goes farther than that. So Oda wrote a one shot before One Piece came out called Monster. It's Ryuma's story. So it is in the One Piece universe, but it came out before One Piece came out. It's the story of Ryuma slaying the original dragon in the East and like when he was alive and how he became a sword god, etc. He looks just like Zoro. Like they're identical. The only difference is Ryuma has black hair and he has like his hair in a bun, but they're identical. Same thing with the guy that was in the cave with Yamato. Those two people that were in the cave with Yamato. You remember that one guy, right? That looks like a spitting image of Zoro.
No, yeah, yeah,
Oda
yeah. I know what you're
wouldn't
talking
do
about.
that.
That gave her the food and like all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. And yeah, 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 no.
Oda would not do that if these guys were not related. Out of all the characters Oda could have drawn, he drew them to look exactly like Zoro. There's a reason why he did that.
No, I agree. I agree.
Shisui
It's similar to
100,
the Luffy, Goldie Roger, all that kind of
yeah.
stuff business.
Shisui
Yeah.
100, although Shisui belongs to Wano, because Ryuma is somehow related to Zoro, that is his birthright sword.
Well, I
That
think
sword belongs to
after
him.
they save Wano, I don't think they're going to give a shit about giving him Shisui. Like, I think
Yeah,
it was
it's
mainly
his
because he
sword.
didn't know who he was, and like he assumed that he was a grave robber because a bunch of people did grave rob swords, and that like somebody must have grave robbed Ryoma's sword. Uh, but also it compounds on top of that because he actually fought him, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and he won. He beat him.
and he beat
Obviously,
him
I don't
too.
think Ryuma was at his
No,
peak,
obviously, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it was enough for Ryuma to respect Zoro.
Yeah, and he gave him, yeah, yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Like, and didn't wasn't it after he won that fight to Zoro, like that sword, like it kind of just like it. I feel like there was a
He
scene I
said it
can't
was
remember
heavier. He said it was heavier. That scene after he gets the sword, he does acknowledge that the sword is
exactly.
heavier.
That's what I'm saying. That there's some semblance of acknowledgement to the sword, and he hasn't had too many like instances where he's using anything but the same swords. So like,
Yeah,
or if he's using like when he was using the other swords like before they broke or anything, like he never did anything like that. He never went. They never went out of his way to like mention something in regards to the sword.
right. But this
Um.
this is what I truly think. So coming to going back a little bit to the conversation that we were having with about like Sanji and Luffy and Zoro having his awakening, right? With the parallels of Luffy and Zoro kind of following the parallels of Goldie Roger's crew of, you know, them not really being captain, vice captain, them being partners, and everybody else falls in line to them type shit, you know? There with that being said, and with the SBS interview that Oda had given where he was like, if Goldie Roger was the sun, then Rayleigh was the moon. With that being said, I think it's more possible than ever now that we know that Luffy is technically, or we don't know for a fact if he's a god. We know his fruit is a zone fruit, right? And that he is perceived to be a god, right? With that being the case, obviously he's always going to be stronger than Zoro, but in order for that skill check, in order for that power check to be there with the sun and the moon, Zoro has to have a massive power up of his own. Advanced Conqueror's Haki is not enough to compete with Luffy at this point, as we're seeing. He has to have a massive power up to compete with Luffy, and I think now with us knowing what Luffy's fruit is and what the potential of his fruit is, I think it's more. I think it's more possible than ever that all three of Zoro's swords become Supreme Black Blades. As that
I.
as that
Mm,
what's it called? As that partner check to each other, the partner still needs to be able to compete with the other person. Zoro having
yeah,
one
but if
blade
that's the
alone,
case, I don't understand. Like the only reason that I don't know if it would be all three is only because there's no way another swordsman with only one supreme black blade would beat someone with three, considering that he's
exactly, but that's the point. The past the future generation is supposed to be stronger than the past generation. So, with that being said, at the end of the story, I truly believe with Luffy's new devil fruit, he blows Goldie Roger and Whitebeard out of the water.
yeah,
And
yeah, I mean, yeah.
that's not like disrespect to them, but that's because of what Luffy is now capable what he is now able to do.
Well,
So,
two things before you continue, because like I don't want to actually forget this, but there's two things there. I mean, we'll talk about this one, the first one later, but the how it hadn't really been seen for 800 years, right?
mhm.
And the 800 years was right before the world government started, and it was right before everything that occurred, like with the 100 years that went missing. So we'll talk about that later. But that's one. Well, there's three things here. Two, okay, uh, we don't even know specifically what this like. We know that he freed people, he liberated people, all that kind of stuff, but we don't know specifically how truly strong this person was. Besides the fact that, like, because like when you say God, what do you mean when you say God?
Who, Luffy being a god?
Yeah, what do you mean when you say that?
Well, I mean, considering that the previous owner of his fruit was considered a god, sun god Nika, it's safe to assume because nobody else was able to, it's not even it's it goes back to the argument that people have been having with Luffy's new abilities being revealed and shit. I'm pretty sure you've seen people be like, "Oh yeah, Luffy, that like it kind of takes away from his character because it seems like he didn't have to work for his powers." That's not true.
That doesn't
That's
make
not
any
true at
sense. That
all.
doesn't make any
Like
sense. That doesn't make any
just because
sense.
he has that broken devil, it's not even, it's not okay. It is a broken devil fruit, but it's
Yeah.
not the fruit itself that makes it broken. It's the whole. It's like the wielder of the fruit. Out of the 800 years, that fruit has kept itself hidden for a reason.
Well,
Like it's
it
like
wasn't
it
just that it
goes
was
back.
hidden. It was like they would get it and then it would get stolen.
Yeah, it was fate. It goes back to the thing of devil fruits, and it's just like swords. You know how we are basically learning that swords have a mind of their own, right? Like certain swords, demon swords, etc. They have a mind of their own, and what we were learning is in order to turn something into a black blade, it's not just going through constant fights with your sword. You have to actually conquer your blade to turn it into a supreme
Yeah,
weapon.
on some bleach shit. On some bleach
Yeah.
shit.
With that being said, it's the same thing with devil fruits. And people have their devil fruits for a reason. You know what I mean? It's not like these people just pick up and eat a devil fruit. It's fate.
No,
It was fate. It was fate
you
that
can point to a similar thing that Oda did, where like Sabo getting Ace's fruit. Like, I understand that like he had to go through a tournament and Dofi had it first, but I would argue that like the fact that Sabo was able to not only win it but like also receive Ace's fruit. I feel like so far we've seen that Oda is putting things in an like things are happening in an ordained way. Like like with Luffy specifically, you can point now you can point to countless things where like it's said that he was like he was fated, right? Odin literally like we that's another thing too. Momonosuke was reading the book and some of the stuff he was saying and like kind of alluding to is like Odin had already predicted this like in his journal.
yeah.
So it kind of leads to that so many other things within the story could lead to that like through the journey some things like fate it's all a part of the journey, right? Like
Mhm.
so but I definitely think Zoro's going to become massively stronger. I mean, he already has. He
But
was able
that's
to
but that
defeat King, but King is not Kaido. We could be very clear on that.
King is
Um,
not Kaido. You're 100% right. King is not Kaido, but King is also someone, although King isn't Kaido, King isn't I wouldn't
I know
say
King's
I'd
not no
say
bitch though. He a god, kind
King
of.
King is right outside the realm of advanced conquerors hockey users. He is right outside that realm. Because he doesn't, because like I said, I don't think he has it because of the fact is like if he had it, we would have seen it. Same way that they showed us that Katakuri had conquerors hockey and he had future sight. These are things that we would have seen if they were there. But that being said to say, although King doesn't have advanced conquerors hockey and I can't put them in the realm, he is someone that I would acknowledge being right outside that realm. You know what I mean? Like if he had that, he would be on par with the rest of these niggas, but he doesn't because he doesn't have that.
What are the
You know?
chances of there being a fate controlling devil fruit? I mean, we were kind of talking about it a little bit before. Um, I guess we can kind of like transition away from the Zoro awakening.
Wait,
There.
wait, 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 but I
Oh,
gotta say
okay.
one more thing.
We'll
I
come
gotta
back
say
to your
one more
question,
thing.
MCR. I'm not gonna ignore it. Hey, thank you.
All I'm saying is with with the thing of with the thing of Luffy and Zoro being more partners to say rather than just being like captain vice captain, there has to be a power check in place. Even if although these niggas are never going to fight each other, that doesn't mean that the power check isn't there.
I
That's
mean,
why
you
I
kind of use, yeah, you would kind of use fights that occur to kind of do those power checks, right?
yeah.
Like he was
But
able to
that's
beat
why I
King, but look at what
truly
it took.
Yeah, but that's why I believe that he could end up getting 3 Supreme Black Blades because he still has to be near his captain in terms of strength. Even if he can't beat him, it has to be an extreme diff. If Goldie Roger and Rayleigh were to fight, it wouldn't be a landslide. It would be an extreme diff. So with that being in place, I don't see Zoro being able to be an extreme diff with Luffy with 1 Supreme Black Blade. That's just honest.
Yeah, I could see it. Like I said,
And
I do
along
believe he's going to get period at least one Supreme Black Blade period. Like it's not even a
yeah,
discussion.
but this is something you also you have to think about. With him being the world's greatest swordsman, he decided to take on 3 blades. It doesn't even if you think about it, it really doesn't even make sense for him to only have 1 Supreme Black Blade. He's a 3-blade wielder. Yeah, if anything, that's more difficult than wielding 1 blade. It wouldn't make sense for him to just have one. It wouldn't make sense for him to just have 1 Supreme Black Blade when he is a wielder of 3.
I understand. No, no, no. Like I said, I'm not disproving that. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm not saying any of that stuff. But what I am saying is just that I'm only on board so far with 1. I'm not saying that he's not going to get 3. I'm just saying right now, if he keeps the 2 demon blades because of their ability to channel Conqueror's Haki probably better than a regular blade because of the way that they were created, right, by the blacksmith. I'm just reserving because maybe that's just how it will go. Like I said, I'm not saying I think both of them are perfectly viable options. I'm saying him getting a third one is really not that crazy, but I do think that
He would be extremely broken though if he had 3 blades, like 3 Supreme Black Blades. You gotta like think about what Goldie Roger, Whitebeard, and Mihawk are able to do with 1. Like what he'll be able to do with 3 is insane.
well, that's what I'm
But I do
saying.
believe that that power check is needed, considering that Luffy is entering God status.
Yeah, like I said, um, it seems that the world government is the only people that are aware of the strength of the gum gum fruit. Okay, at least
How do
so
you know
far,
that?
is the only people that have been confirmed that understand the strength of it is the world government. That one dude that they were trying to handle, um, that one dude that they were trying to handle in that broke out of Impel Down, right? Who had heard the story. Uh, there's a time fruit, so there could be one. Yeah, that's another thing too, is that like there's so many doors that were opened up the moment that he involved time travel. The moment that he involved the devil fruit that involves time travel, he opened the door to like everything, right? Like once you involve something like time travel or something of that nature, it opens the door for everything. So, like that's why I say like Zoro could have 3 black blades because there are characters that we probably haven't even met. Like we haven't seen the full strength of like everybody in
Gorsei
Blackbeard's crew. Like
or the Gorsei.
or the Gorsei or what's the dude's name that has the same eyes as Mihawk at the red eye.
Emu or I'm Sama.
Yeah. So I'm Sama specifically. All right, we can transition here because I want to talk about this actually. So before we even go into any rankings or anything like that, even though we kind of touched a little bit on rankings, but before we go into any of that stuff, and before we go into like Devil Fruit power rankings or anything like that, because I mean that kind of fits into like Supernova and that kind of stuff power rankings, because like I think your Devil Fruit also kind of limits you to an extent of how strong you can really get in terms of Supernova power rankings. Obviously, if you're able to have Conqueror's Haki and Advanced Conqueror's Haki, then your Devil Fruit kind of doesn't play as much of a role, but there's most characters in the series do not have Advanced Conqueror's Haki. So
Exactly. That is the end all
Devil
be
Fruit
all.
is like their limit, right? Because like you could argue Buggy's Devil Fruit is kind of insane, but nobody knows if he has Advanced Conqueror's Haki or anything like that. We haven't seen it.
He don't
So
have that shit. That
yeah,
nigga
yeah,
just
I
have
know. And I'm just using him as an example. Um but I think that his Devil Fruit is pretty strong. If he had Advanced Conqueror's Haki, his Devil Fruit would be kind of crazy. I think. being able to split up his body and hit you with like a bunch of different hits with advanced conqueror's haki would probably be kind of crazy. Um, and he's like really hard to kill. Uh, if we're talking about, all right, we caught a glimpse of Dragon's power. Yeah, we caught a very minor glimpse. I don't know how I don't know how much I want to stand on that. I don't even want to like if I'm thinking about that, I'm not even using that as his power scale. If I'm thinking about it, I'm using the fact that he went up to what is it, Marie Joy? I forgot how to pronounce it right now, but Marie Joie, whatever. He went up there and he started just handling celestial dragons, right? And like everything that's going on up there. Like that alone, despite ever knowing anything about his powers, right, is insane. You have to assume that not only because of his son, but because of who he is, he knows how to use advanced conqueror's haki. He would not be considered the most dangerous man in the world and all this different kind of stuff if he did not know how to use
At the
advanced
highest
conqueror's
bounty.
haki and the highest bounty. And yeah, that's what I meant when I said the scariest
No,
man in the world
yeah,
or
I'm
whatever.
just clarifying with
No,
you.
yeah, good. Thank you. But and then on top of that, if you want to use that instance, it seems, right? It seems, not confirmed, but it seems, right, that he has the ability to control weather. And if he has the ability to control weather on the scale of his strength alone, also on top of advanced conqueror's haki, we have to give Dragon the fact that he's probably like he's probably top 3 like strength wise. Like currently he might even be the strongest. Like I don't know, man. It's so hard that if you just from that one instance when he was in town in Logtown, on top of the fact that we know his history and just the fact that he was able to bring all these people around him and the fact that Sabo is as strong as Sabo is and he's number 2 and like we all know Sabo is not beating Dragon in any world, right? So I think
For now.
for now, sure. Um, but as of right now, right? Dragon is like, in my opinion, like you have like even without any other things, even with just what we know, you have to have Dragon top 3. I really don't see how you don't have Dragon top 3. Maybe later it'll change, but as of right now, the fact that he might be able to control weather, which in itself is like Nami on a whole different level of steroids, because like it's not just one type of weather. It's not a weather where he has to use like a staff or something. Like he just can control that, right? So if he can make it rain, like, and not just talking about like just drizzle, bro. Like if he could start tsunamis, if he can start like any of these things, if he can start tornadoes, like that's hard to deal with. On top of the fact that he can use advanced conqueror's haki and like do you know, you see what I mean? Like he's so, and we also saw that he was not only that, he was fast because Smoker didn't even notice, right? So I definitely think that Dragon is up there. And now, if we want going further into that, all right, because the whole reason that I'm mentioning this is to where I'm going to next, okay, is I'm Sama, right? We were kind of like discussing this a little few
Stands
days
at the
ago.
top of the world government.
I'm
Stands above the
Sama
13 board.
stands at the top of the world government. And we mentioned that there was a time fruit introduced. So if there is a time fruit that was introduced, there is the possibility that there is a devil fruit that makes you immortal. Okay? I'm not saying it's true, but there's a possibility. If this guy is immortal, and not only that, stands at the top of the world government, which stands to reason that he might be the person who created the world government, right? Even if they haven't confirmed, they haven't said any of that stuff, even if they, like, you don't become the top of the world government for no reason, right? Whether it was him or somebody else. But I'm going down the line of thinking that it was him, okay? If there is a devil fruit that makes you immortal, there's a high chance that, yeah, it's similar to how Brook is immortal, but Brook is kind of like a soul inside of a skeleton, right? But like I mean, we never even seen his face. We just seen his eye. So we don't necessarily know what he even looks like or any of that kind of stuff, right? But let's just say that because the time fruit was introduced, immortality was also on the table now, right? And if this guy is immortal, and on top of that, also knows how to use advanced conqueror's haki, right? And let's just say that this guy fought, what's up, Chris? Let's say that he fought the sun god, they called him sun god Nika, right? Sun God,
Mhm.
right? Sun God.
Mhm.
Okay, let's say that this guy 800 years ago, before he created the world government, fought this guy, right, and beat him, right, for the devil fruit. And then obviously, it takes time for the devil fruit to appear again, all that kind of stuff, right? But let's say he beat him, that handled that, created the world government because of whatever occurred with this dude, right? We don't all know, like, the fact that we're talking about a god right now, and we're talking about 100 years of time that was just erased, okay, it opens up the doorway for so many things. So let's say this guy beat the gum fruit. Gum fruit doesn't exist anymore, right? He creates the world government. He's immortal, okay, and he understands the problem of this devil fruit. That's why he told the ghost, the Gosei, right? I'm pretty sure it was him who told them, right, to do this, to go and kill Luffy there, to the CP9 agent. If I'm
Probably.
so, because I feel like the Gosei don't, they take orders from him like that. I don't think an order like that is something that they would just make themselves. I feel like they really do follow a chain of command, all that kind of stuff. So if he is aware of the dangers of that devil fruit, and that devil fruit, yes, it's been seen in the last 800 years, but we've never seen anybody handle it. Nobody's mentioned the fact that somebody was a handler of the devil fruit since, right? It just said that fate kept, the government would find it, and then fate would have it so that like it got stolen by Shanks in the most recent iteration, right? And then from Shanks, it just happened to end up in the East Blue, in a person like Luffy, who literally embodies everything that devil fruit is supposed to represent, right? So him being the reincarnation, in my opinion, makes perfect sense. It's not stupid. It's not ass pull. It's not anything that like some random is gonna say, or some hater of One Piece is gonna say. I think that it's like, it makes sense, right? So, do you think this person is tied to the Celestial Dragons? Who when you say this person, who do you mean? Do you mean I'm Sama, the dude that's head of the world government? I mean, I don't think that when you say tied to the Celestial Dragons, what do you mean by tied to? I don't think that he's tied to the Celestial Dragons in a sense. I mean, probably in some aspect, right? Because Celestial Dragons are supposed to be like some incredible bloodline that existed when the world government was created, and that's why.
Pussies, basically.
Yeah. So um yeah, we don't know. Well, I'm just saying I'm Sama. I didn't say he or she, did I? Did I say that? I don't think I said that. But I'm Sama, the person, because we have no correlation. And actually, hold on. I want to pull this up real quick. Because Terrell brought this up, and I think it's important.
What about his eyes and Mihawks?
Yeah. So, but it's actually, there's three people with these eyes. Okay. There's Mihawk, Zunsha, which off the top of my head, I don't even remember who that is right now. I swear to God. And I'm Sama, right? So, that means that there are, I mean, but also this swordsman here, I forget his name right now, also had those eyes too. This dude here had those same yellow eyes. So I don't know what these eyes mean, but there's only specific people that have these eyes. Oh shit, it's not even pulled up on the screen, is it? My bad, guys. Let me add it into the window capture. I'm sitting here talking about it and I didn't even window capture, right? Add source. Hold on, guys. I'm adding it right now. Wrong one. Oops, my bad. All right. So there are multiple people within the series that have these eyes, right? It's not just I'm Sama, but like they look very similar. I mean, for the most part, Oda has not really drawn too many characters with like interesting eyes. Oh, this is. I thought I was tripping. It is the elephant. It is the elephant. That's been around for
Tanisha.
forever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Zunisha. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
All right. This character also has those eyes, similar to Mihawk. Um. So I don't know what that's if that's supposed to mean something. But let's just speaking strictly off of here, who we were talking about, right? He or she, whatever this person is, right? If they're a head of the world government, there's a high chance, right, that they're the information that this person has is no one else has the information this guy has. This guy, in my opinion, probably on some like dystopian type shit, is withheld so much information from not only the 100 years that doesn't exist anymore, but also just in general, like probably fights that occurred, all this kind of stuff. Also, the ancient weapons that like you can only decipher if you understand how to read the poneglyphs. And also the fact that they exterminated everyone except for Nico Robin at this point, and like very, very select. I think there was like one other person that could possibly read it. I forget who is the other person that can possibly read it, but they don't know how to. Big Mom's daughter, the one with the third eye, is supposed to kind of like be able to read it when her third eye finally awakens properly. Like I believe most of that info is probably at Laugh Tale. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that even if that information is there, what I'm saying is that no one else has that information. Okay? It's information that has been withheld. So I just personally believe, because of the fact that a time devil fruit was introduced, that I think an immortal devil fruit can make a lot of sense. And this person that it sits at the top of the world government, you don't sit at the top of the world government on accident, right? And the fact that he has an understanding of how dangerous the Gum Gum Devil Fruit is, in my opinion, stands to reason that he has some first-hand account of how dangerous it is. Okay? Maybe he is an immortal, and maybe it's been information that's been passed down to his lineage, or hers lineage. Okay? This person's lineage. But I think that it stands to reason that this person is a very clear understanding of what he's dealing with. And if that's the case, then this Gum Gum Fruit, Devil Fruit, was a impactful part before the world government was started. And I think that this opens up so many doors. That opens up so many doors for Luffy. That opens up so many doors. And how we were just talking about the fact that, you know, the future generations are always supposed to take things to a next level, all that kind of stuff, right? Like, we don't know what people were doing back then, right? These ancient weapons that were supposed to bring that have been spoken about, that they're supposed to bring apart the destruction of the world, right? Like, if those ancient weapons existed before, then what motherfuckers must have been extremely strong back then. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whatever we think is strong now, like it must have been on a whole different scale. The only other variance of that I could think is that the inverse of that is that the fact that ancient weapons existed might mean that maybe motherfuckers weren't that strong, and there were only a select few people that were that strong, and these ancient weapons made up for that gap, or something to that extent. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they were created so they could combat what they were dealing with, right? And then after the ancient weapons were destroyed, but devil fruits remained, or something to that extent. I don't know. Like I said, that's a very like rabbit hole that, you know, this sounds very, very unlikely, but what if Zebek were to come back to life? Honestly, off the top of my head, bro, I don't even know what that is. Oh, the Rocks Pirates leader. Okay, Rocks. I didn't remember his last name, but Rocks. Um, what do you mean back to life? What do you mean when you say that? I don't understand. Well, we know Joy Boy failed, right? We know Joy Boy failed, but we don't know why he failed. You get what I'm saying? Right? So him failing without context means nothing. Him losing without context means nothing. So
Wait, my bad.
Joy Boy,
my
Joy
bad.
Boy, Joy Boy. The fact that the gum fruit was lost means that whoever existed with the devil fruit before that means that like the fact that we're talking about a god right now could mean that there were gods during that 100 years. And that they existed and were the holders of devil fruits. And like there was like an all-out war. Like the rabbit hole is crazy, right? So you could go down this rabbit hole and create a lot of different scenarios with just the information that has been given to us so far, right? But we don't know why he failed or why he lost. It's like the same thing, like Odin lost to Kaido, but did he really? You know what I mean? Like he lost to Kaido in only so much that he was kind of cheated. Not kind of, he was cheated. They used his family against him, and this person's devil fruit allowed to make him an illusion or whatever. And that's the only reason Kaido won, because he got distracted. Okay, so without context, we don't really know why Joy Boy lost, because at this point they seem genuinely scared at the gum fruit, and the fact that Luffy now, like, I mean, the CP9 dude I think got knocked out, right? When he turned into Joy Boy, but well, Gear 5. But so I don't know if that information will be relayed or whatnot, but it'd be interesting if that information gets relayed to the Gosei, and then what happens then? Yeah, the CP9 dude probably died. Yeah. I mean, he got smacked the fuck up, so most likely. But
It's the life of the pirates, bro. Niggas die all around you, bro.
today could just be your day. Except if you're a straw hat. I will say though that in my opinion, them being mostly gods and stuff, right? Yeah, Aegis, yeah. The fact that a god was introduced, and now we've also now learned about Lunarians who no longer exist, right? But were considered extremely strong, right?
Yeah, that nigga Zoro is racist as fuck. First,
Oh my god.
Notice most of the niggas he takes out they're black.
Oh my god. Anyway,
that nigga is racist as fuck, bro.
So,
he keeps taking black people out, bro.
No, wait. King is not. Well, I mean, I guess he's brown. I guess he's brown.
King is
okay.
black.
Yeah.
King is 100% black.
I mean, when they revealed him in the manga, they said he was brown, but okay.
Nigga, they have colorings of that nigga already, bro.
Oh, okay, well, I'm just saying what I read in the manga on Shonen Jump. So, because I read the officials on Shonen Jump. So, I mean, unless they messed that up, but anyway, the fact that Lunarians were once gods, right? And Zunisha showed up, right? Who's considered a god, alive for what, 800 years? It hasn't really been seen, right? What was that, like the first time they seen Zunisha or something that they said in the most recent chapter? It was like the first time they've seen this Zunisha since like whatever. So if you take, that's 2 gods right there. Lunarians were considered gods. Okay, that's 2. Now Luffy, that's 3 gods. What if they were just living in a land of gods? Like, what if gods just existed and this all-out war? I mean, this series went downhill, so let me not go mentioning this, but I'm gonna mention it anyway. Like on some, like on just to use 7 deadly sins as an example, right? Just for a quick second, where you have angels, demons, all this different kind of stuff, right? What if now we're talking about a time where 800 years ago, devil fruits existed, but also many different races existed that no longer exist, right? Because we've seen a lot of different races that are extinct or don't like with the city of gold that went to the, like, now existed in Skypiea, and like we've seen so many instances where things that existed 800 whatever years ago, 500 years ago, 300 years, none of these things exist anymore, or these races of people were just wiped out. And we can take Nico Robin as an example of all that entire set of people were just wiped out and all the knowledge gone. So it's safe to assume that there were many other instances, especially in the past, where there's a high chance that,
Let me use the bathroom real quick.
I bet, that something like this like happened. So I'm not saying that there were more gods. I'm not saying that there were other gods, but like the fact that they've done such a job to hide all this information means that there's got to be something out there information wise that is so important that they have to keep a secret from everybody that would possibly cause some semblance of rebellion, right? Like where the world government, no matter how strong they are, is not going to be able to handle the whole world rebelling against them, right? They're able to succeed because the world, for the most part, is on their side and against pirates and all this other stuff. But if we want to actually add more to that, okay, the fact that Goldie Roger found every poneglyph and was able to read them, decipher them, and then at the end didn't do anything with the information, and the fact that Rayleigh also knows and they all went their ways, and I'm pretty sure everybody a part of that crew that was there for that, including Odin, right? If we're to assume that poneglyphs are as important as they are, okay, and how difficult they are to find, how many of them there are, like that there are some that are more important than others, right? And there's some sort of puzzle, means that what Goldie Roger read on the last poneglyph, including Rayleigh, including Odin, which again, this goes back to the most recent chapters where Momonosuke was reading his journal, and it seemed like Odin already knew kind of what was going to happen. Like in his journal, he had already written what was going to happen, right? So it makes you think, yeah, exactly. It makes you think that the poneglyphs were some type of fortune telling that was to occur in the future. And because of who Roger is and because of who Rayleigh is, you've seen it in the personalities, right? They're not trying to play around with fate. He just wanted to be the king of the pirates. So whatever he found, chances are it probably wouldn't even faze him, right? So that's probably why he knew the fruit's worth and why the government respects him so much. Okay, Shanks. Okay, you could. All right. Let's talk about Shanks for a second. Okay. Maybe when Terrell gets back, he can add more to this too. Because we both like Shanks a lot. Shanks is like, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think he's like, I don't know if this has been confirmed or whatever. He's rumored to be the son of Rocks, right? And so that alone would probably make him extremely strong if that is factual in some facet. But I don't know if that's true. Because Shanks was a kid when Roger was at his peak, kind of, right? But I don't know. But Shanks is like rumored to be Rox's kid or something like that, right? And Shanks being able to show up to like meetings, like yeah, like when he showed up, didn't he show up to that Gorsei meeting, right? So Shanks has to have a knowledge that has not yet been revealed. Shanks has been a very interesting character in that we know the least about him out of all Yonkos, right? As much as we saw him early on with Luffy, and we've seen the instance when he went to Whitebeard's ship and all this kind of stuff, we know the least about Shanks and his crew. Actually, we probably know less of Blackbeard's crew at this point, probably. Actually, maybe not. So between Shanks and Blackbeard, we know the least. So we know that's endgame. 100%, we know that's endgame. Kaido Big Mom happening now means that like Shanks is probably just going to be on a scale that's stronger. That's probably how Oda is doing it. At least I feel that's how he's doing it. Um, well, yes, we know the least of dragon, but what I mean when I say the least of, I'm talking about like pirate crews. I'm just talking about strictly pirate crews, emperors, stuff like that. Okay, Dragon's another person that probably has a shit ton of information that nobody else knows too. Okay, because of his like endeavors, right? Dragon's been everywhere. Dragon's done. You could. If Dragon had his own crew, he'd probably be insane, right? Terrell, you back?
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking about Shanks real quick. Uh,
What about him?
Well, first we were talking about. I was talking about like Rogers and the poneglyphs, and you weren't here for that, so I'll probably just upload that solo that little clip. It's not that long, but if you want to add to it, we can add to it right now. So I'll just do a little recap of what I was talking about in terms of poneglyphs, and we can talk a little bit deeper, and then I'll just cut it up. But all right, in terms of poneglyphs, that the information that this is kind of what I was saying is that Goldie Roger found all the poneglyphs. Poneglyphs are extremely hard to find. There's there's two different types. I think it's two different types of poneglyphs, and one is more important than the other. And they seem to be kind of like a map, and also telling you very important things that are like on a scale that's so big that the world government would kill everybody and bury all the information. Yeah, red and blue. So what I was saying is that Roger found all of them, including Rayleigh, right? And when they went to what is it? What the hell's the damn place where they met Rayleigh? I forget the name of it right now. Not Log Horizon, right? No. I forget the name of the place. But where they met Rayleigh, was that Laughtail? Is that where they met Rayleigh? Am I tripping? Yeah, no, that's not Laughtail, bro. Where Luffy and them met Rayleigh, okay? Rayleigh was going to tell them, was willing to tell them what they found. But Luffy, he knew that Luffy would not want to know, okay? He knew, okay? If what Roger found and Rayleigh, from what we've seen in their personalities, found was something in regards to fate, which is something that has now been even put on the forefront of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Roger would just dip and just leave it to be, because his whole goal was never, he's not trying to play around with fate or any of that kind of stuff. He probably didn't even care about what happened in the 100 years. He was just trying to be the king of the pirates. Like that, to me, that was like his ultimate goal. So whatever he found with those poneglyphs it's just not like, if it was something in regards to fate, then he would just leave it alone. So if that's the case, right? And if everything that has occurred up until now, not in the specific order that it's occurred, but just in terms of Luffy getting the gum fruit and what that was supposed to happen in terms of fate, okay? And now we see Zunisha from 800 years ago, right? Like all of this all coming together in Wano, a forbidden land, and like all this kind of stuff. It makes you think that like whatever's on those poneglyphs probably has some semblance to do with Luffy and the gum fruit. Now, when we're talking about the poneglyphs, I was talking about before, is like the importance of them and how they'll play a role within the story. Like, where do you feel that the poneglyphs like sit within the story?
And they've always been, and leading to the One Piece.
Well, all right. It's an assumption that it leads to the One Piece. It doesn't mean that it leads to the One Piece.
Or at least it'll at least lead you to something that will lead you to the One Piece.
Okay, but again, like what I'm trying to say is that first of all, we don't know what the One Piece is, right?
I mean,
We have no idea what the One Piece is.
Considering that they needed Odin for that specific reason, I mean, I don't know why you would see it any other way.
What do you mean they needed Odin for what specific reason? My bad. And what do you mean?
Goldie Rogers' crew.
Yeah, he needed
Odin.
that. Well, wasn't Roger able to read it on his own? Because he even wrote on a poneglyph in the text. Yeah, Odin could read it, but so couldn't Roger? Because Roger wrote on a poneglyph that existed in the sky, or maybe Odin told him what to write or something like that. Because Odin was with them when they went to Sky.
I'm pretty sure Odin was needed for the poneglyphs, So I mean, at the end of the day, that was the last thing that we saw before he had reached the One Piece. I don't see why the poneglyphs would not lead to the One Piece. Just being honest, because
Okay,
I
if
think like
if the poneglyphs do lead to the One Piece, right? And then that is the ultimate like whatever. What would you believe that is so like so powerful, right? The fact that
to
the
be a
world
fountain of
government is
youth,
trying to stop everybody from reading the poneglyphs, everything else. What would you even think that it would be then?
a fountain of youth.
If it was the Fountain of the Youth, don't you think that Goldie Roger would have jumped in it? Rayleigh would have jumped in it?
No, because who would want it? Like living forever seems like a perfect idea, but we've all seen the trope of niggas that live forever, bro. They're usually miserable.
Yeah.
You don't have to drink. You don't have to drink from the fountain of youth to realize that that's miserable as hell.
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
Why would you want to live after all your family, your friends, everybody else
No, of course,
passes
everybody
away?
else. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'd probably be first in line for if immortality existed. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, man. That's a whole different topic for a different video that I want to do. In just in general, like that topic itself, like just immortality. But I do
Well,
get
we
what you're
know it's
saying.
something physical. We know it's something physical at least because that's what Oda said. He said it wasn't friendship. It wasn't no dumb shit. He
Oh,
said it
he
was a
said that.
physical object. Yes,
When did he say that?
like way like years ago in an interview.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, ancient weapons, world government info, gods, etc. Yeah, well, like again, like that's what I was just talking about too before. Is that all these things now? We're talking about gods. We're talking about the ability to time travel. We're talking about ancient weapons. We're talking about the world government, right? The world government being instated, like created, right, birthed, it right after the 100 years that went missing is like a telltale sign that whatever occurred during that time period, they never want that information. Obviously, everything that has occurred that's so obvious. I'm not trying to state this like I'm saying something smart, but it's that they're trying to stop. Yeah, the Void Century. They're trying to stop something from taking away their grasp on the world, which is the world government and these people. So it makes you think that whoever's at the top of the world government, okay, they managed to succeed in whatever they did to be able to win whatever fight occurred. Because, in my opinion, the Void Century had to be a fight. It had to be something. It wouldn't have been ancient weapons or all these different kinds of things if it wasn't an insane fight. Okay, so let's say it was an insane fight, and the I'm Sama, head of the world government, is came out on top, and this is why the world government now exists, right? That means that whatever these poneglyphs are leading to has got to be something that threatens the world government. Nothing else. I don't see how it could be anything else but something like information or something of the sort that will 100% threaten the world government. Doflamingo had bars. What do you mean? Like, I don't know what it is, and I don't know what your guess is, Terrell, but whatever it is, it has to threaten the world government. Maybe this might be. I understand you said you think Fountain of Youth, but I really feel like it's got to be something involving devil fruits. It's got to be something involving devil fruits.
Could be.
It does tie into what Joy Boy's mission was of liberation and everything else, right? Yes, and probably and probably a fail or something like that. But his failure. But it to me, it's got to be like something involving devil fruits. Not saying that it's about devil fruits, but what if there's something that is the opposite of a devil fruit, right? Like, um, or maybe something even stronger than a devil fruit, right? I just think that the poneglyphs a god fruit. Yeah, exactly. What if there are other fruit that exist? Um, oh, you're just at the beginning of One Piece. Okay, like uh, uh. um what do you mean, does it have a direction, or is it just a bunch of
He's asking, are we talking about One Piece or are we talking like, or is the conversation? Or are we just chatting?
No, we're only talking. Yeah, I appreciate you, Lotus. We'll do some other like more mainstream anime and stuff soon. I just happen to have caught up on One Piece really lately, and yeah. But I appreciate you stopping by, my boy. We're yes, there's direction. Right now I just wanted to branch off and talk about poneglyphs. It wasn't really on the discussion topics that
Is
we were going to
Ryan
talk
even
about,
reading
but
One Piece?
I don't know, dude. Sometimes I don't know.
Can tell Brian to shut the
I
fuck
don't know if
up.
he's caught up on One Piece. But I don't mind. I mean, you don't really need to be caught up. If he doesn't plan on watching, he can just listen to us talk. It's the same thing. No, we're not talking about any specific, like, we're talking about current chapters, but we're also talking about how the current chapters correlate to all the information that we've accrued so far. He said, "Oh, he's not finna read something that's never gonna end." All right, bro. All right, that's enough. I'm not. That's enough.
You remember when I told him to shut the fuck up?
That's enough, bro. Yes, exactly. Okay, so let's go to that real quick. All right, two things there. The poneglyphs, like towards the end, right? Talking about who upholds justice, the throne wars, etc. That's a real thing. Like that's why I'm saying that like there must have been in the Void Century like just a massive all-out 100-year war that nobody talks about. Ancient weapons.
Keyblade Wars.
Huh?
You thought this shit was the Keyblade Wars from Kingdom Hearts.
No, but like think about it, right? If in the future there were only 3 Supreme Black Blade users so far that we know of, right? At least of current times, right? With like Goldie Roger, Whitebeard, four. Right?
One of them has to be the Gorsei niggas because of the fact of that sword that the guy is carrying. Pretty
Okay.
sure that's the one Supreme Black Blade.
Yeah. So let's say, okay,
but we've only seen 3 in action.
Hold on. I have to respond to this right now. So, all right. I definitely want to talk about this. All right. So, because this just brought up a real thing that was popping in my head. Okay. And talking about the throne wars, all that kind of stuff. All right. So, like, let's really focus on the Void Century here. I want to make this because I'm gonna probably clip some of the other stuff and include this in here. But let's really talk about the Void Century here and go really deep into the Void Century. What could possibly be? Okay. If we're just talking about how the poneglyphs are really important, all right, and we're talking about they could possibly give information about who upholds justice, throne wars. Now we also get into talks about god fruits that could exist, right? And we talk about the fact that Blackbeard is able to wield multiple devil fruits. We only see him 2, but there's talks that he's looking for a 3rd. Okay, now if he has found a devil fruit, this specific devil fruit, which if you recall when he was talking about it, he knew exactly what he was doing when he killed who he killed to get that devil fruit. Okay, so wherever he got the information that he got, he understood how strong that devil fruit is, which I would say that like you can't there have been devil fruits where people don't even know what the devil fruit will do, right? We've had that occurred multiple times. Okay, someone says, oh, they don't know what that devil fruit's going to do, right? So the fact that he knew about that devil fruit and understood that he could assimilate another devil fruit within him is absolutely, like, in my opinion, now opens up the door that there are other insane devil fruits. The ability to time travel is another insane devil fruit, which we never thought that there would be a devil fruit that could time travel. Okay, so if we're talking about the Void Century, okay, there had to have been other fruit, okay, that maybe the poneglyphs, maybe where the One Piece ends or something like that. Maybe where the One Piece ends is such a hard place to get to, but what's there is like just maybe it's a civilization. I don't know. Like who knows what those things point to, but it's got to be something so impactful that to the Void Century that the world government would try to stop everybody from learning about the Void Century. Okay, you'll never get the satisfaction of seeing him become the pirate king and find the One Piece trust. Not in your lifetime, at least. Relax, Brian. Yes, you will. I don't know why. Okay, I think some of this God stuff might tie into the Buddha fruit. What do you mean when you say that, the Buddha fruit? What do you mean? Like the fact that he had the Buddha fruit and it was considered a
Are you
very
talking about
strong devil fruit?
Sudoku?
Yeah, he's talking about something. Yeah.
Yeah, Garp still wipes that nigga though.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I
he's known
mean,
as the world's strongest
I know,
man.
I know, I know, I know. I'm just asking. I'm just making sure. I'm just making. Listen, I
It
fuck with
kills me,
Garp.
bro.
Garp is the boy.
It kills me, bro, when niggas think that Prime Akainu would fight Prime Garp, bro. Like,
Oh
you're
my
out of
God,
your
Garp would wash him.
you're out of
Garp
your
would
fucking
wash him.
uh,
Okay. All right, but to go back as let's continue on to the Void Century. Okay, so Blackbeard most likely is gonna go after Luffy. No, they said where he was headed was not where Luffy was at, or something like that, right, Terrell? Something like that.
yeah, he's heading to go get another devil fruit.
Yeah, but it's not where Luffy's at, is what I'm saying. Because he was saying that, like,
Nah.
yeah. So I don't think he'll go after Luffy's. Um, uh, I need to see a devil fruit power that can control fate. That I don't think that that's going to exist, because if that's the case, then it makes the story really stupid. I think having fate be a topic within the story is cool, but having a devil fruit that controls fate, I think is stupid. Do you get what I'm saying when I say that? Like, do you understand like the difference? Like, I don't know. I feel like a story that is showing like fate versus a character that is causing all of this to happen, I think is just different. I think that's stupid. Um uh have you heard the theory that Luffy's fruit was in Laugh Tale and Roger ate it before he died? Hmm. And Shank's mission was to retrieve the Gum Gum fruit and give it to Ace, where he encountered Luffy. I have not heard that, but that's actually a very interesting theory. I've never heard that actually. I don't really look into theories. I don't read anything. Everything that I think about or whatever is just from reading and stuff like that. So I've never done any of
Yo,
that.
what is Brian asking, bruh?
I don't know. But uh
That dude's just mad that Bleach
Garp
is
washed
mid.
Linlin. True. And also we've seen an instant where Garp and Goldie Roger fought together on that island, right? And Garp was washing motherfuckers, right? So we Garp motherfuckers know about Garp, okay? Even when Garp is old as shit, people still feared him, okay? And we're talking about a person without a devil fruit.
And they don't give out world's strongest titles to anyone. Like that's not a thing. Everybody that has a world's strongest title in the series is either great or was great.
And proved it. Like with like great feats. And the fact that Garp did it again as another person without a devil fruit means he's extremely powerful.
Considering that his son is also Dragon and his grandson,
Yeah, is Luffy.
Luffy.
It just is.
You can go ahead and already put him in there for.
It's so crazy when people say that like Luffy was not like oh, it's so crazy that Luffy has this devil fruit and stuff. But like, bro, if you just look at his fucking grandfather and his father, like he was gonna be great regardless.
Yep.
So the fact that Garp was world's strongest and Dragon is currently world's most dangerous, like facts. Like there's no discussion. Like Luffy is that dude, okay? Shout out to my boy Luffy for going Super Saiyan. True. Okay, but let's focus on the Void Century, okay? So if we can assume now that maybe it just hasn't been revealed, maybe Blackbeard's devil fruit has an awakening that we don't know of yet. Similar to like Luffy's awakening. Maybe there are devil fruits. Wait, okay, hold on. What if, okay, there's something in regards to devil fruits that has just not even been truly fully revealed yet, except for right this moment when Luffy is now the reincarnation of some god, right? The sun god versus darkness god. Oh, I didn't even know people were saying that, but that's what I'm saying. So what if Blackbeard, because he's only had the devil fruit for a short period of time, even though he's learned how to like consume other devil fruits, what if there are other devil fruits that also have this will, right? Marshall D. Teach has a devil fruit. Okay, you could think of possibly being a darkness god, right? Monkey D. Luffy. Okay, what if like this is why I said I don't want to rule out like Trafalgar Law yet, because he also has the will of D in his name, right? So what if everybody who has the will of D, right, has some facet of something greater that no one understands yet, because there's only been one crew that was able to look at all the poneglyphs and go to Laughtail and see what existed there, right? To me, that just makes so much sense. I mean, what do you think, Terrell?
Mm, yeah, but I mean, I don't think the will of D has anything to do with power. I think it just has to do with inheritance, and I think we'll learn that soon.
Okay, but we've already established, me and you, when we've talked, that Law's Devil Fruit could be broken, like absolutely broken, right?
No, yeah, it
So
is
no,
absolutely
no, I
broken.
know, I
It's
know,
not
but I mean, like on the
used.
scale of like if he had also advanced Conqueror's Haki, and like it would make it easier for him to use his ability on anybody, and not just people that he has stronger Haki than, right? So like the fact that like I get what you were saying, where like if he was gonna have it, he would have already showed it, and like this is an inheritance, but we don't even know what that inheritance truly is yet.
Yeah, but I don't think that correlates to advanced conquerors hockey
No, no, no,
because
no,
we've
no. I don't think
seen.
it does that. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that in terms of devil fruits, right? In terms of devil fruits, like Goldie Roger never had a devil fruit, but he did have the will of D. Ace had the will of D, right? And he had a devil fruit. And before he died, Ace was strong. Like Ace was really strong. So what if it has to do with devil fruits?
Mm, what, the will of D?
In some aspect, I'm not saying that like
I don't
it.
think it has to do with devil fruit because gold. You like you just said, Goldie Roger didn't have a devil fruit.
Yeah, he didn't have a devil fruit, but like what if there's something that hasn't been explained in terms of why he didn't have a devil fruit?
I mean, I don't really think that there's an emphasis for him needing a devil fruit. I think certain people having devil fruits and certain people having it's not a choice thing, but like I said, like devil fruits clearly play a big part in this series, right? But people not having devil fruits, I don't think that makes them any less of a important character. I think it was just something unique that was given. And the reason why I don't think it was something that's of mass importance is because that's why Conqueror's Hockey and Advanced Conqueror's Hockey were put in place to let you know that Devil Fruit isn't the say all be all.
No, yeah, like the king's willpower
Yeah.
and conqueror's spirit and all that stuff. But okay, so then if it's not a devil fruit thing, right? And it's a conqueror's haki thing, we have seen that Law does
No,
have
but
it.
that
Hold on.
yeah, but that's not I don't oh, go ahead, go ahead.
But we have seen that Law does have conqueror's haki, whether it's not advanced, but we have like we saw that he had conqueror's haki, right? I'm not tripping, right?
Yeah.
And so almost, well, not almost, everyone, I think everyone that we've seen with the will of D has conqueror's haki, whether it's advanced or not. I think everyone we've seen with the will of D has conqueror's haki, right?
No.
Who has the will of D that we've seen that doesn't have conqueror's haki?
Trafalgar.
Well, that's why I just asked you. I could have sworn that Law had it. I could have sworn we saw him
No,
use it.
law doesn't have Conqueror's Hockey.
Okay. Oda revealed his awakening though. Who's awakening? What are you talking about, Chris?
Jaguar D Soul, and then Portuguese D Rouge. These people don't have Conqueror's Hockey either.
Okay. Okay. Did they die early? What was
Portuguese D Rouge is Ace's
it's
mother,
Ace's mother? Yes.
and then Jaguar D Sol he's just a vice captain.
Okay. Because I was thinking if it's not devil fruit, it could be Conqueror's Haki, like involving the like Conqueror's spirit and all this kind of stuff. But if it's not even that, it's I mean, this is like again not anything I don't think is too crazy. I mean, maybe there's been theories talked about this, but like, what if the Void Century had to do with a lineage of people, that had this D in their middle name, or people that existed, and um maybe they were just like a strong, like not race, but like what was a different, what was another word that I could use? Is like a civilization of people that existed, and like all these people with D in their middle name are in some form in a lineage, right?
Hmm.
Like, if that's the case, yes, I agree. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with Devil Fruit. Maybe it doesn't have to do with Conqueror's Haki. But in some facet, it has to be extremely important to getting whatever's in Laugh Tale,
Yeah,
or like
it could be
to them.
some type of it could be some type of inheritance thing. That's what I'm saying. Like that, just because you don't have Conqueror's Hockey doesn't mean that there are different ways to play importance in One Piece. It's not just through
Yeah, yeah,
strength.
yeah, yeah. It's not
Yeah,
just
we already
sheer
have our
strength.
people that play strength, but that's not the only thing that truly matters in One Piece. Strength alone isn't going to get you to the One Piece, as we've seen. Nico Rob in the Straw Hats crew, Nico Robin is the only one that can read poneglyphs, and she's not even like, not to say she's not a strong character, but she's not like Monster Trio. You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
there, the will of D doesn't have to be something of strength. It has to just lead to something of importance, which could
Importance.
be, like I said, inheritance
Well,
to
first,
something.
we don't even know. Chris, I do agree. D could equal devil. It could be a thing. D means God's natural enemy. So devil versus gods, sure. Um, that could be a real thing. Her buff in Wano was kind of nuts. True. But we don't know what D stands for, right?
Right?
Like you're like D means God's natural enemy, but we don't know what the D actually stands for. Like what the whole thing would be if it was like the full word or whatever, right? So we don't know what that could actually entail, but it 100% has to do with the Void Century. I think anybody who reads One Piece would agree that the Will of D 100% in some facet has to do with the Void Century. There's no world in which it doesn't have to do with the Void Century, in my opinion. I just don't see how the Void Century and Poneglyphs and the Will of D don't all correlate. D plus Devil equals Devil Fruit. I mean, that
Nah, that doesn't make sense.
again, that's why I was saying that I felt like it
Because
could.
not
No,
everybody
no,
who
I
has the
know, I
will of
know, I
D in
know.
their name has a devil fruit.
But what if it's not necessarily that they wield devil fruits? What if it's their correlation to devil fruits? Them as people. You get what I'm
How how
saying?
how does all right? But then you'd have to explain that, because how does that make sense if certain people who have D in their name don't have devil fruits?
Because, okay, well, first of all, we're talking about a time period. Like the Will of D still exists, but we're talking about a time. I'm not saying that they're born with devil fruit abilities. What I'm saying is that wherever this lineage occurred, they could. This is where it could have originated. You understand what I'm saying? Like the devil fruits. It's not that they. It's similar to like fucking. I mean, I really don't think that this is what they would do, but like similar to like the chakra tree in Naruto, right? People were not born with chakra, right? But they gain that ability later because of the chakra tree, right? So similar to that, like the people of D, right? Yeah, Law's mission, exactly. That's Law's mission. Like they don't know what it means. So I do think that in some facet, their lineage could have something to tie into devil fruits. Not that they all wield devil fruits, but that devil fruits and their lineage and Laugh Tale and Poneglyphs and the Void Century, it all has to tie in somehow. Otherwise, they wouldn't regard people with the Will of D in such a way, right? Like the people with the Will of D is the enemies of the world government, right? So
Mhm.
why are they the enemies of the world government? It's not because of Goldie Roger, right? So something in the Void Century had to have occurred with the people. Yeah. Corazon said it himself. Look, listen, Corazon's the goat. Okay, I have the same birthday as Corazon. I love him. One of my favorite backstories is Law's backstory. It's very, very, very sad. I love Corazon, but Anyway, the Void Century is the, in my opinion, is gotta be a focal point in what will entail how Endgame plays out, right? Like I don't see how there's any other world. Like, I mean, I understand people say that it's like getting closer towards the end and stuff like that, but after this, all right, Kaido, Big Mom get handled, right? Let's move forward. Let's start talking about a little bit like direction moving forward in One Piece. So, like what's next? Okay, so after this arc, we assume Kaido will be handled. Big Mom will be handled in some facet. Not saying that she's gonna die. Not saying Kaido's gonna be dead, but they'll be handled. Okay. And I mean, I mean, you're saying well, but like Luffy's gonna beat the shit out of everybody. Like this next chapter about to go crazy. Okay. Yeah, we know the government is coming. Actually, we mentioned that before you came. So that's what I'm getting to that. So what I'm saying is though, in terms of Yonkos, okay, Kaido will be handled. Big Mom will be handled. Not saying that they're gonna die or anything, but they will be handled. And if Luffy wins, okay, yes, they're still considered Yonkos most likely because of the size of their crews and stuff, but it changes the entire dynamic of everything. Okay. Yeah, that's what I said earlier too, that we don't know where Shanks is and all this other stuff in terms of like, but everybody does know what's happening in Wano right now for the most part. At least the main people that need to know. But okay, so that's 2 Yonkos down. Now the other 2 Yonkos are Shanks and Blackbeard, right? I can't think of any other power that they're worried about. All right. So those are the other 2 Yonkos. Okay. Besides that, you have the world government. Okay. And whatever Dragon's up to. Okay. So there's only 4 core enemies left. Okay. Is there anybody I'm missing? Terrell?
Wait. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Bro, get off the fucking game, bro. Get off the game, bro. Come on. Fucking, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen.
Motherfucker, shut up. I've been here
All
for the
right,
whole conversation.
so
And this was the first time.
Shanks, Blackbeard, the world government, and the Revolutionary Army. There's really no other enemies left, and I wouldn't even consider Revolutionary Army an enemy because I mean Sabo's there and his father's there and like all that kind of stuff. So I'd argue that if anybody's most on board with what Luffy's done, it's the Revolutionary Army. Okay, and Shanks may be a Yonko, but Shanks is for Luffy. Okay, everything within the story has said Shanks is for Luffy. Okay.
Yep.
So if there's going to be, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Shanks and Revolutionary Army being allies, I could see that. The thing is like, the world government would never survive an all-out war against Shanks, Blackbeard, and Revolutionary Army and Luffy, the Straw Hats. There's no world, I don't think. Again, we don't know how strong the Gosei is, and we don't know how strong Am-sama is. So, like, a lot of cards on the table, right? There's 13 of them, right? If all 13 of them are the strength of Yonkos and shit, or in some...
I don't think the 13 Gorosei is actually 13 members, bro.
How many do you think? How many?
The 13 Gorosei, we've seen the 13 Gorosei. It's 5 elders.
Oh, it's 5, bro. It's... When was the last time we seen them? Because I don't remember at this point.
Yeah, it's been a while, but
but all right, let's say it's 5 of them, right? 5 of them plus Am-sama. Let's say they're all on the same level as a Yonko. Okay, let's just say for the sake of discussion and the sake of the strength of the world government, okay? Because if they're sitting above Marines and admirals and all that kind of stuff, they got to be pretty damn strong in some facet. I mean, obviously there's an order and people follow the order and stuff, but you predict Garp and Kuzan will leave the government. I mean,
yeah, I don't see. First and foremost, Garp already didn't like how Ace died.
Yeah.
Even if Ace was a criminal, I don't think Garp would side with these niggas if it came to the point where it's like, all right, we're gonna attempt to kill your grandson and your son.
Nah, not after. Not after. You saw what it did to him. You saw what it did to him. He wouldn't do it again.
Even if he did, he'd just get fucking watched then. So
the samurai guy? Who are you talking about? Who's the samurai guy? Am I tripping? He doesn't
The
agree with the
samurai
government.
guy. Are you talking about? He's talking about the fucking the blind samurai, the one. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Fujitora.
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 Yeah. Um, I mean, again, Fujitora could be like, I mean, he clearly did not fuck with the Marines, and also he was having a lot of like low key discussions when he was getting screen time, right? So who knows who Fujitora is playing for? Okay, Fujitora could be a sleeper agent, bro. Like I mean, I don't think he's a part of Blackbeard's crew. Everything that he did would, I mean, who knows? I mean, he doesn't like the Marines, to be honest with you, but I don't think it's that he doesn't only just not like the Marines. I think he doesn't like what the Marines do. Because they try to act like they're protecting the people, but like it's not exactly that. Uh, so Fujitora could be a part. Yo, I think Fujitora could be a part of the Revolutionary Army for all we know. Genuinely, I think. Like, but I'm not sure.
Maybe. I mean,
I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying that like if we're talking about admirals and leaving and all that kind of stuff and like not being a part of what maybe what will come to be, I definitely think that those are real things. Like that's another thing too. If an all-out war begins to occur, who's playing on whose sides? And how strong are the elders? And how strong is I'm Sama? That is his name, right? I'm Sama. I'm not tripping.
yeah.
Okay. Now,
And it's not. It wouldn't be crazy to say that Akainu has also gotten stronger since he became fleet admiral.
oh, 100%, 100%. There's no, I have no doubt in my mind he's gotten stronger. Okay, but I mean, Blackbeard will be on his own side. I don't think Blackbeard will take a side because I don't think anybody will ever trust him. Not with everything that's occurred so far. But let's say an all-out war happens, right? And the motherfuckers have to start picking sides and all that kind of stuff. Okay, that creates a whole different dynamic. The thing is, though, is that like Luffy has been able to recruit a bunch of people that you would have never really expected him to be able to recruit. Like he's got Jinbei, he's got Yamato, he's got people that like that are willing to follow him that don't even like he doesn't like when he was leaving Dressrosa and what's his name and he what's his name, the dude who had the not the reflection but like the mirror fruit or whatever it was, not mirror, he could,
Talking about the green haired nigga.
yeah, the dude who was like in love with Luffy.
Bardo or Barmolithule or something like
Oh,
that.
Bartholomew. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So, so he has all the exactly. His entire family, Dragon being the Revolutionary Army. Okay. And the fact that Luffy has liberated so many countries at this point. Okay. And people know that Luffy is not some like warmongering pirate trying to hurt people. Like he's already displayed that constantly. This is why I say that like the people that say that like him being the reincarnation of this god who like literally embodies liberation and all this other stuff, like it just makes perfect sense. Okay. So yeah, and Marco's on his side, the Whitebeard pirates, like it just, the list goes on, right? So there's no way, in my opinion, that the world government would ever take on just a straight all-out war with this, because the world government doesn't even have enough strong people to even fight like a war on that scale. That's why they try to keep the order. That's why they have warlords. I mean, it's not that he's necessarily going out to liberate places, but he is, when he, anytime that anybody needs liberating, he liberates them. It's like it's just his character, which is what I'm saying. Like him being the reincarnation of someone whose character was also the same thing is problematic for the world government. So, and this was before Luffy ever even had access to this awakening. And at this point, this is the awakening. There is nothing after this. This is the awakening, right? You would assume so. So now him having the ability with Red Hawk and all this other stuff, you see the fire on his head and all this stuff, like him having this ability makes so much more sense. The fact that he was able to create fire when he was like throwing hits and stuff, like it makes so much more sense. That I just think that, all right, because we kind of got off a tangent here, but after handling these Yonkos, okay, after handling Big Mom and after handling Kaido, the world government have them surrounded. Similar to when they were surrounded in Impel Down. The only difference now is like they're on an island where they're like legitimately surrounded and all of that kind of stuff, and they're fighting an all-out war, and they're down bad. Like the Zoro's down for the count now. Like everybody is like on their last legs. Like this has been a very tough time, right? So I don't know exactly what's going to occur next, but it's safe to assume that it's going to involve Shanks in some way, in my opinion. He's been very quiet up until this point, except for wasn't Shanks the one who Shanks interrupted that meeting with information, right? And I don't think he would have done that if it wasn't like extremely out of this world important. So I think that we're going to see Shanks towards the end of this arc, and it's going to start moving in, and you're going to start, in my opinion, start seeing how this end game is going to play out slightly. I think another thing too is they're going to get the other two poneglyphs that that Nico Robin is looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they get that, whatever information that they learn from those poneglyphs will be extremely important into the direction that goes where they go next. But I mean, it's hard to say where they're gonna go next because, like, what island is next? You know what I mean? Like,
Elbaf.
you think so?
Yeah,
Why do you think that?
because everything points to Elbaf.
Okay, explain. I'm just asking.
What do you mean? With the poneglyphs and everything, the final poneglyph is on Elbaf.
Okay, so you think that once they get Big Moms, once they get Kaidos, and
Yeah,
all, they're just gonna dip out.
the final poneglyph is on Elbaf.
Okay, I mean, also isn't Yamato like like a she's not a giant? Isn't she a giant?
Who, Yamato?
I could have
No.
sworn that when I was reading that, I could have sworn I said that. Maybe I'm tripping. Why would they have to go back to Whole Cake? Oh, you think it's on Whole Cake Island, the poneglyph? Well, I guess it probably is on Whole Cake Island. Well, then they're not going to be able to get her poneglyph right now. But how would they even get back to? Oh, it's considered a beast, not a giant.
Yeah,
Okay.
Elbaf is one of the final islands before Laugh Tale Raftel.
Okay, but how are they going back to Whole Cake? I just don't see that. Then how they're probably there's no way they get her poneglyph like that. Like they dip out to Wano, then go back to Whole Cake. That doesn't sound like Oda. Am I tripping? That doesn't sound like Oda.
What, going backwards?
Like going back to Whole Cake Island.
No, that doesn't. I don't see a reason. I don't see why they would go back.
I mean, no. Big Mom definitely has one. They mentioned it that she has one and Kaido has one. Okay. I guess the final part of this discussion. I mean, we could do power rankings, but like, I mean, I want to talk about this before we ever do any power rankings. But Luffy's Devil Fruit power, what it means for Luffy going forward, and is it something that he will be able to naturally and instinctively pull out whenever he needs to? What do you think?
Is Luffy's fruit something that he can pull out when?
I mean, it is multi parts, but is it going to be something that he can pull out like gear 4, gear 3?
Yeah.
What's the toll it's going to take on his body? I mean, you can answer all of these, but and also, what does this Devil Fruit and this awakening mean going forward? And the fact that somebody is going to, in my opinion, somebody's going to explain to him what that is. I don't know who it will be. I don't know who's going to say it. I don't know if it'll be Shanks, who's it, whatever. But I would be very interested in if there is somebody that comes and gives him information in regards to that, or maybe even Odin maybe wrote about something within the his journal that could be of use. You think but yeah, so what do you think? And also Chris said I think his awakening requires a condition. That's what he thinks.
Probably. What was the question that you just asked me before he said that?
Um just basically going forward, now that we've seen what his devil fruit really is. We've seen what his devil fruit really represents in terms of the threat to the world government. Because they've always called him a threat, but we never knew the full extent of what they meant when they called him a threat. Right? So, I mean, we just assumed that it was because he was just causing havoc. But now we know it's because they're also aware of what the gum gum fruit is. So, what does this mean for the story going forward? What does this mean for Luffy? And
He's the signal of hope, bro.
you think that's like just the primary thing going forward is that like
If anybody's gonna be able to sort this shit out, Luffy now has the power to do it, and he
uh,
has the people behind him that can help him do it. Because he couldn't do it alone. But after this arc, I 100% believe Wano will be behind him, and I believe Yamato will also
oh, Yamato
be
100%.
joining
She said
be
it. She said
joining
it
his
already.
crew.
Yeah, she said it. She
I
said
mean,
she
it's
was
not even
joining his
about her saying it; it's about the fact that she considers herself Odin.
True.
That's
True.
that's the parallel. That's the parallel in itself.
So like for me, Luffy's devil fruit going forward, like yes, he's the signal of hope. But as we were talking about earlier, because I just want to reference this real quick because this kind of makes sense to me and this is kind of where I could see it going. Okay, is we talked about the Void Century and we talked about what's unknown in the Void Century and the fact that he is now a reincarnation of a god, which is pretty much the representation of liberation. Not pretty much, is the representation of liberation and freedom and freeing people and being happy and always like embodiment of what Luffy's character's been up until now. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about how we don't know how, if his devil fruit is this strong, Joy Boy lost. Okay? What if Joy Boy in the past, because the way that the person in Impel Down kind of explained it, it was someone who did it solo, right? He went along his journey freeing people solo. Luffy sailed the seas and built a crew of people and allies. What if that's the vast difference in his reincarnation? That building the crew while also now having this power was what was fated and necessary for him to be able to take on who he needs to take on. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, to really go facts. But what if that's where this whole line of thinking goes? What if it's that devil fruit plus everything else? Just it all, in my opinion, that just it all converges. Like the future generations are supposed to be stronger. Maybe Joy Boy during that time period, there was a reason why he didn't have allies. Maybe there was a reason that, like, the fact that he represents liberation means that there were people that needed liberating.
Yeah.
And for that tale to still exist 800 years later and people in Impel Down hearing about it, like, and anytime that they knew that somebody was talking about that, they killed them, means that they don't want this information to be out that he was this kind of person, this person existed, all this kind of stuff. So to me, it kind of just, it's just all leading to the point where Luffy will, in some facet, fight the world government. I understand that he just wanted to be the king of the pirates, all this kind of stuff, right? His only goal is to be the king of the pirates. It's the person with the most freedom. He has fucking repeated that shit since the beginning of the series. He just the king of the pirates is not someone that conquers other people. It's just the person with the most freedom. And this god represents liberation and freedom. So to be truly free, he's going to have to take on the world government. Something that Goldie Roger never had to really do. I mean, the world government really never came for Roger, but Roger never had the Gum Gum Fruit. Well, we assume he's never had the Gum Gum Fruit, and we assume because he never had a Devil Fruit. So, but we don't know for sure that he never had the Devil Fruit. And did they ever explain what his sickness was? I know they went into detail that like they tried to like prolong it for as long as possible, keep him alive as long as possible. But did they ever say exactly what it was? Was it just some regular disease?
I don't think they really said what it was.
I mean, it can't be something that they encounter when going to Laugh Tale and everything with the poneglyphs, because then other people would have had it, and would have gotten sick too. And also, I think he got sick before they got the Laugh Tale, right? So
Yeah.
so it wouldn't really have to do with that. Okay, crazy idea. Okay, crazy idea. What if, again, where I'm just spitballing here on the future now that we know that Luffy's Devil Fruit, what it is truly. What if Goldie Roger did have the Gum Gum Fruit? And what if he ate the Gum Gum Fruit, but it had a negative side effect where he didn't actually gain the powers of the Devil Fruit, because they talked about the Devil Fruit having a fate of its own, a will of its own, kind of, right? What if Goldie Roger was incapable of wielding the Gum Gum Fruit? And that's what made him sick, ultimately leading to his death.
I mean,
or would the Gum Gum Fruit just instantly kill him? Or would it be a slow rejection that led to his death? Like, I just throwing out ideas that my brain is just kind of like trying to just see where it could connect forward, how it connects with Goldie Roger. Like the theory that like Goldie Roger sent Shanks to steal the Gum Gum Fruit, which he did steal the Gum Gum Fruit from the world government, and then the Gum Gum Fruit to bring it to Ace, but he ended up running into Luffy, and then Luffy ended up eating the Devil Fruit. Like, what if he needed someone like Law, or Law and Luffy's Devil Fruit go hand in hand? What do you mean Law and Luffy's Devil Fruit go hand in hand? Because Luffy ate the Devil Fruit perfectly fine, so what do you mean? Because of the negative side effects of awakening? I mean, what do you mean negative side effects? Well, Gear 2 shortened his life. Gear 4 had negative side effects. I mean, Gear 3 also turned him into a child for a short period of time. But what if, like, him using those gears as we know them as Gear 2, Gear 3, Gear 4, and whatnot? What if that was just his lack of understanding of how to actually use his Devil Fruit the whole time anyway? Like, what if Gear 5 is just really what his Devil Fruit is? And it's not like, and yeah, we haven't heard of Devil Fruit. Have we heard of Devil Fruit users getting side effects? The only thing that we've, I mean, Terrell, you can chime in here, but the only thing that I believe is that we've heard that if you try to consume 2 Devil Fruits, that it has a negative side effect.
It'd kill you.
It kill you. Yeah.
Blackbird is the first person to do that, and they explained why it was. They explained because of the shape of his body, he is able to do that.
Oh, is it because of the shape of his body? I thought it was because of the darkness fruit.
No, it's the shape of his. It had something to do with the shape of his body that allowed him to allowed him to have 2 devil fruits inside of him.
Hmm, I see. But that's what I'm saying, Chris. What if the fruit is too strong for a human? What if Goldie Roger tried consuming it, but it was too strong for him? And
I don't
oh,
think that would make
I know, I
sense,
know, I
to
know,
be
I know, I
honest.
know. I was just about to. That's what I was about to continue. But what would make more like in terms of Luffy, what would make more sense to me in that sense is not that it was too strong for him. Okay. Uh, what if like this thing having a fate, a will of its own, understood that Goldie Roger was not who he needed, was not the person that was supposed to take that devil fruit, if that is a god fruit, right? If we are to believe that there are god fruits now, right? Then what if that god fruit has only certain, similar to like the swords, right? How we were talking about Zoro, right? The swords in some aspect choose their owner, right?
Mhm.
What if devil fruits, not devil fruits, what if god fruits are similar? Like if it wasn't meant for Goldie Roger. Because like the theory about Goldie Roger sending Shanks to steal the Gum Gum fruit and then bringing it to Ace, and that's why Shanks was there, makes a lot of sense. Because why would Shanks just be there for Luffy? I mean, Shanks does say something about the booze or something at the beginning, but like, I mean, Shanks has also always been a cryptic person. So, and Shanks having like been close to Gold D. Roger, that theory makes a lot of sense. Yeah, well, that's my point. Is that the Luffy got chosen by the fruit? Yes, like Luffy's personality fits the fruit. But what if there's other fruit like that out there? There can't just be one god. So far in this story, and just in general, in all good stories, in all good writing, there is something, there's a yin and a yang to everything. There is something that would counter the other thing, right? So, I mean, you can argue that the darkness fruit in some semblance would be like a counter to the sun god, but like we haven't seen anything that would entail the darkness fruit being uh the darkness fruit being something that is a god fruit. But darkness versus light, that whole thing, you know. Um, but I want to say that if Blackbeard is able to consume a third devil fruit, that makes this story or makes everything that will happen going forward kind of insane, right? Because what third devil fruit would he add to being able to cause earthquakes and shifts into tectonic plates and everything else, right? And being able to consume everything into a pit of darkness, basically a black hole. What would be the devil fruit that he would add to that now that Luffy is now the wielder of a god fruit? Or the wielder of a devil fruit that is the reincarnation of a god. I just don't see that Oda would only put one god in the entire story and it'd be Luffy. Wouldn't
Well,
make
I mean,
sense.
there never was just one god.
Uh, exactly. But what do you mean? Wait, explain.
Me?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Who's
mean, think about Ryuma. He's known as a sword god.
but
There,
okay,
there
this goes into all right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you can keep elaborating, but that's exactly
it's
what I'm
not
saying.
even it's not even just Ryuma. So do you notice the chapter that Luffy's fruit was displayed on? It was called Warriors of Liberation, right? That was showing the prowess of him possibly being a god, right? Now, if you go back to what was the chapter where Sanji was versus Queen? What was that chapter called? It was Warriors of something. Warriors of Science? Science. One Piece.
What's that island called that Nico's from? Devil. They were the devils of what? Or
Yeah, Warriors of Science. Warriors of Science, right? That alone with all the stuff that has happened in there with Sanji basically being able to re-snap his neck back in place, you could consider
That's
Sanji a god of
that's
science.
what I that's why I was saying when I was saying the Void Century, what if like there are like other reincarnations that we're unaware of currently? And on top of that, we're talking about warriors of science. I understand why they also did that because they were both scientists and they were both fighting, right? Well, not Sanji was a scientist. The other
But
guy was a scientist.
the warrior part is the more telling part, and that also goes back to why I'm thinking that also goes back to me saying that I don't believe Zoro has truly done this arc because Sanji and Luffy both got their chapters where it was warrior of liberation, warrior of science.
Yeah,
We haven't gotten
imagine
Zoro's yet.
Luffy reincarnation of God, Zoro reincarnation of sword god, fucking Sanji reincarnation of a god. What if oh man, like Chopper
And then we
having a
have God
fruit that
Usopp.
allows him to speak, like,
We literally have God Usopp too.
and also God Usopp, where also Usopp's dad is also on Shanks' crew. Um, but um, what if leaders of the world government are gods? I mean, the five people that are the elders, like we've never been told how old they actually are, right?
Yeah.
They never said how old these people are. They haven't revealed anything about them.
Yeah, we don't know how old they are.
So so again, like to be in that seat, to be in that seat, considering what the world government has done and what they do and the types of information they have and the types of information they try to withhold, you can assume, or I think it's safe to assume, that those five people have insane powers of some sort on top of the person who is the head of the world government being even stronger than all of them on some Aizen and Espada type shit, right? Like, and again, this MCR, this goes back to me saying like this whole immortality fruit stuff like that. Maybe it's not even an immortality fruit. Maybe they're literally gods. Okay. And these like, okay, so now we can go down an even deeper rabbit hole that we were talking about before, but like, okay, what if they're all gods, okay, to some extent? We don't know what kinds of gods, but right, you know, we now know the sword, let's assume sword god, science gods exist, right? Okay, what if, okay, they created some type of alliance during the Void Century in which they won the war, and then they created the world government. Aim Sama clearly is the strongest of the whatever those gods are, okay? And they are aware of other possibilities of gods because they were aware of the gum gum fruit and they were aware of what the gum gum fruit meant, right? At least the Gorsei were, and all this kind of stuff. So what if they understand and they know that there are other gods, and that's why, because they are also gods. I mean, you can argue that there's just probably some written text somewhere and it's just something that's been passed down or something like that. You can argue that. But why would they keep their identities such a secret the entire story? Like, they never show their faces, right? They're always black and white, right? Am I tripping?
What, the 13 Gorsei?
Yeah. Like,
No,
they're.
we've seen their faces. It's the five elders.
I'm tripping. Hold on. It's been so long since. Okay, I know. Okay, I see. They're all old and they all look like the fucking the dude at the head of the 13 core guard squads. But they're all really old men. Five elders, okay? There's like a picture here. Hold on, let me pull this up on the other screen. Let me put it up on the stream. Sorry, sometimes it's been a long time since I've seen some of these chapters and stuff, so, and I'm not gonna lie, before this discussion I didn't do like a lot of research or something. Let's do this. Okay. I don't know if this picture is true. Is this an edit? Is this a real panel that existed, guys? Real quick, Terrell,
Yes.
this is a real panel, or is this somebody who drew this?
No, that's from the show.
Okay,
That's real.
okay. Uh, like I said, I don't even know when this was, but this must have been a while ago or something, or maybe I just don't remember. But anyway, I've been reading a lot lately, but different stuff. But anyway, uh, this looks like some form of beast, right? Similar to like what Kaido and everybody there is, right? What would this guy be? What would he say this guy is that we've seen in the story?
Which guy?
I don't know his name. This guy right here.
I don't even see where your mouse cursor is, dog.
You don't?
No.
On the red dude.
Oh, I don't know. I
So
never really thought. I never really thought that hard about what they'd be.
so let's say they are gods. Yeah, he looks like he has haki infused. Facts. Yeah. So let's say he's the god of haki. Okay. And this guy's the god of beasts. Okay. And this guy's, I mean, I don't even want to say the god of swords because, but what if there's more? What if there's more than one god? Like when it comes to like the god of swords and the gods of science and stuff like that, what if there could be more than one in that aspect? Or what if uh there were gods of these things and the devil fruits were like an extension of the gods, right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what if uh Joy Boy was like the god of rubber or whatever, right? Because I mean, at this point, he is kind of like he would be. I guess you would call him the god of rubber. Okay, this is the god of beasts. Okay, god of some form of hockey, maybe armament hockey. I don't know. Maybe something that we don't even know. Right? This guy could be a god of swords. Who knows what this guy is? Who knows what this guy is? Because you can't really tell. They're just like it could be anything, right? But let's say that's the case, and they're all five gods, and then the other dude is a god too. I'm Sama, or he, she, whatever they are, because it hasn't been confirmed, so I'm not gonna like assume. But let's just say whatever they are gods. Okay, that would mean that there could be other gods that we have yet to see. The only issue with this theory that I have is that why up until this point have we have not seen anything in terms of gods? I mean, you say like Enel, okay? Enel considered himself a god, but I mean, Enel did have insane understanding of his devil fruit and observation haki very early, right? I mean, I don't know how long he was up there, um but even the way Enel's body was, it didn't look like a human's body. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like it's just so hard because like there could have been other gods that we don't even know, but they don't understand how to awaken that extent of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but if we're to assume that these five people are extremely strong and that's why they're the head of the world government, and I mean, I believe that even if they look old, they're probably strong as shit. We've seen already in the series that your age doesn't really entail how strong you are because Whitebeard was insanely strong and he was like, you know what I mean? Like, so, so I think going forward, Luffy's Devil Fruit being what it is has opened the door to so many things involving God fruits or some type of reincarnation of gods. How like Terrell, like I didn't even remember this, but like how you said like this guy was considered the sword god, right? Like what else could there have been? Like they killed the devils of Ohara, right? To hide the information that they had. They were working on deciphering the poneglyphs, okay? And they got rid of them quick. Boop. Got rid of them. All their information gone forever. So what are they hiding? What are they hiding? It's not just pointing to a location. There's got to be something there that is so worth hiding, and that can only be relevant to one person or whatever. Like Goldie Roger saying that he left the One Piece out there somewhere for someone to find means that whatever he read, or at least to me, and I probably won't change my stance on this, whatever he read means that there's only one person that he believes going forward that will find the One Piece and be able to actually utilize whatever, or not just utilize, but for it to be impactful into like the fact that he announced it. And it also plays into the fact that he surrendered himself and said that in the most public setting possible, because there's no other way that he could have created a more public setting to reach more people than his public execution being broadcasted around the world.
True.
Like it just, you start to connect dots, and like, I mean, if you really want to make shit believable, you can kind of like make your own dots, but like all of this to me just makes a lot of sense. And now Luffy's Devil Fruit being announced as like some semblance of a god fruit. I don't want to call it a god fruit because it's not necessarily that. I mean, they said that he was just a reincarnation of a god, right? That's what it said, reincarnation of a god. Yeah. So I don't want to call it a god fruit because I don't think it's a god fruit. And I know we talked about possibly being god fruits before, and there could be possible god fruits, but I don't think that they're god fruits. I think that there's some extension of a god. Because there have been other series that have done something like this. Like, this is not the first time that a series has possibly done something where, like similar to like how Naruto had the chakra, like where it's an extension of a higher being. Okay? And the fact that there's a void century, and the world government is the only people who know about that void century, and Goldie Roger, it just kind of makes you think that like, that there's got to be more. MCR, I just don't, saying that there's only one god fruit, like, it's kind of shitty writing, because then that would make whoever wields the god fruit the most unstoppable character in the entire thing, and then there's no point in even writing a story, right? Am I tripping? Would that make a good story?
No, there needs to be power checks in place.
Like, the reason people love series like Hunter x Hunter and all these different kinds of series is because, like, dude, fucking Nen system is one of the greatest power systems ever created. In terms of balance. Unless it has to be someone the fruit accepts. You know, that I wouldn't be too inclined to disagree with. But there's too much unknown about Aim Sama. There's too much unknown. The leader of the world government knows stuff and is playing a game that we don't even understand yet. You know, it's crazy that we've gone through 1,000-something chapters, and the leader of the world government is very clearly playing a game that we just don't understand. Like, why wasn't his total focus point just getting the gum fruit? Like, yes, they had it and Shanks stole it, but let's be honest, bro. If he really wanted to send the whole world government after one devil fruit, other people weren't going to step in and stop the world government from getting the devil fruit from whoever had it. So, like, the whole accepting of the fruit makes a lot of sense in some aspects, which plays into what I was saying about the Goldie Roger thing a little bit. But again, I mean, if someone ate a bad devil fruit, I would assume that it would just reject him immediately, like right off the bat, because you see how it affects people's bodies the moment they eat it, and it would just kill them on the spot. But I mean, I don't know. Shanks has to know something. Shanks, in my opinion, is going to be such an important character that I really can't wait to see him get more screen time and everything else. Like Shanks is going to be such an important character. Um, and I'm excited because Shanks is one of my favorite characters ever since the beginning of the series. Like, yo, one of the coldest scenes in the entire series came in like episode 1 when he went to go save Luffy and they rolled up and the dude on the other pirate crew pulled out a gun on Shanks and his boy just blasted him and he said, "This is not it's not a toy. You better be ready to shoot." Like, that's, I don't know, bro. That made me want to like see more of Shanks's crew, and we're 1,014 chapters in, and you don't really see too much of Shanks' crew, man. But like, those boys is cold. Those boys is cold. They don't fuck around. They don't fuck around, man. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, there could be other devil fruits that are extremely powerful or that can be considered, or other god reincarnations, but maybe this gum gum fruit is considered the most threatening. Um, because yes, he has the essence of rubber, right? But we don't know the extent of how strong his awakening is because we haven't seen anything yet. But did you see how big he was able to make himself after he awakened? Like, being able to awaken on that level, and then also the fact that he can use advanced Conqueror's Haki right now and make his arm that monstrous. Like, we've seen him make his arm huge like a giant, but we've never seen him like make it on the scale that, like, at least in that panel it looked like the size of the floating island. Am I tripping, or right? It kind of looked like that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, where do you see the story going next?
Me?
Yeah, now that we've seen Luffy's awake somewhat, well, at least we know that he's the reincarnate. Where do you see the story going next? Because like realistically, the next few chapters will be him definitely beating the shit out of Kaido and all these other people. But like, do you think, like, where do you think this goes next? Where do you think it's headed? Like because now that we've seen his awakening and stuff like that, like, and we can kind of like work towards wrapping it up.
I'm expecting to see Shanks make his move soon.
Giants have always been very relevant to the story. They've always been feared almost of ancient legends. I mean, yeah, but again, this goes back to and so you can like chime into like on this one, but this goes back to what I was saying earlier in terms of the Void Century, of all these races that really no longer exist, or if they exist, there's remnants of them, right? King is a remnant of people that were considered gods. Lunarians were considered gods. So like, Ryoma was considered a sword god. What if during that Void Century and before that, that whole time period, there were just a bunch of different races that were considered gods of whatever they like? Do you get, like, gods of whatever it was that they were, like how warriors of science. So maybe they were gods of science. They say Joy Boy was a giant. Do they? Who said that?
Oh,
Did
don't
they?
worry about it.
What you mean?
All right, then I'll unload it.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm talking to my roommate.
They say Joy Boy was a giant. When did they say that? Did they say it? Did they say it in the chapter?
I don't remember them saying that.
Yeah, overall, I just think that we're gonna see. I agree. We're gonna see Shanks makes his move. Okay. 100%. We're gonna see Shanks make his move. I think. I just don't see how we don't. We've seen already allusions to him knowing something that's up, knowing more than he's let off. Uh, um, and the fact that they're being surrounded by the world government, we could even see Sabo make a move. We haven't seen Sabo in a while, right? It was presumed that Sabo was killed or something, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I personally don't believe Sabo's dead in any way, shape, or form, if we're being honest, guys. he wouldn't reintroduce him just to kill him slightly later, like shortly later, and not give him enough screen time or anything like that. I just don't believe that. Um, exactly. They alluded to him dying, but there's no confirmation. So, what if that was again all a plan of the Revolutionary Army? Okay, and they're aware of what's happening on Wano. Oda said something bad will happen to Vivi and Hancock. When did Oda say that? Terrell?
What?
Oda said something bad will happen to Vivi and Hancock? Huh?
Uh, I don't remember hearing that.
I'm not aware of that, MCR. I'm not aware of that. But like it's also, before we wrap this up, I think this also plays into this. It's also very interesting, right? Because Jinbei was a slave, right? I love One Piece, but this time is too much, I guess. That Toon Force stuff. All right, Chris, have a good night, brother. What do you mean that Toon Force stuff? You mean like what his awakening was? Is that what you mean? Um, oh, he said in an interview, you think? Okay. Um, but all right, I was gonna say something. Damn, what was I gonna say? I don't know. I don't know. We didn't really see too much of it in the chapter. I'm definitely excited to see what the next chapter is like and what's drawn and stuff like that first before I pass any judgment. I think it could be cool. You got to remember too. You're basing it off of the manga, right? And the animation has been out of this world phenomenal. So, and if he's out there awakened and rampaging and using different types of haki, like armament haki and stuff like that, and infusing advanced, I feel like that could look hard as fuck. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. To me, that, like, especially with the way the animation has been in Wano, how beautiful it's been. I don't know. I don't know. We talked about it a bunch this stream, and I actually think it just makes sense. I mean, maybe if you don't like the design, I could understand that, but I think it makes a lot of sense for him, personally. And I think going forward, in terms of like everything, uh, I think depending on how this awakening affects him is also going to be crucial and things going forward. Because if every other awakening to some extent has had some semblance of side effect, I wonder how this will affect his body. So I think that is the most important part of everything going forward, is not knowing how this devil fruit will affect him moving forward and what that means for the Straw Hats and everything else. Uh, like as far as story goes, I mean, he is the god of liberation in a lot of ways. So, um, the change of the background. What do you mean when you say that? Maybe I just don't recall what change in the background. Let me look. Maybe I was reading that thing late at night, so maybe I missed something. I'll pull it up right now. Give me a sec. I don't want to pull it up on stream because I'm not sure what I can get banned for and what I can't get banned for. Oh, you mean like the way that he was drawing the background? The looser with a funny fruit who's become strong even with that? What do you mean? I'm very Just like walk me through what you're saying. I could see that it looks a bit more animated, I guess, like or cartoonish. I mean, we're talking about anime here, but I get what I could see what you slightly mean when you say toony. Especially when he was like choking the dragon with like his biceps. So it looks like very Herculean. I mean, yeah, but this is what we were talking about almost the entire stream going forward is like we don't know what other things exist that counterbalance this. Where there's an I don't think it's fair to make an assumption that this is the only powerful fruit or the only legendary fruit or anything like that in existence because I just don't think that's true. I think the fact that the Gorsei knew that the Gum Gum fruit and what it who's his original wielder or whatever was means that like and we were talking about how the Gorsei probably have insane devil fruit abilities or could be some semblance of gods or gods on top of the leader the head of the world government could possibly be a god. So I think the moment that time devil fruit was introduced, we don't know what will happen moving forward now in terms of devil fruit stuff like that. Like if you think about it, like when Dragon did what Dragon did, right? And he went up to Marie Joy and caused havoc and all this kind of stuff, and he became the world's most dangerous man. We don't know what Dragon learned, right? We don't know what information he learned. We don't know what Dragon's devil fruit truly is. Like Dragon could be insane too. Like truly, like we don't know what his devil fruit truly is, okay? And the fact that he's been in such secret and he created the Revolutionary Army really just all ties in with Luffy being the liberator. So I just think that there's too many lines and stuff that and dots that connect for it to be like an ass pull or something that I would call shitty or anything of that nature. I just think there's too much. I think that also doors were opened. This whole arc, Wano has just been door after door being opened. Like the Lunarians, the fact that they were considered gods. Zunisha considered a god. Right? Zunisha's considered a god. Terrell? I think it's doing
What did you say? Say that again.
Is Zunisha considered a god?
I don't believe so.
Okay, well, Zunisha is just someone that's been around for 800 plus years. And
Yeah.
only and you can only hear him speak if he wants you to hear him speak, right?
Yeah.
Like he's able to communicate, but I mean, I don't know. I thought it would just be weather god for or just something some type of weather fruit for dragon, but air god, I'm Sama being the sea god, I could see that. Luffy being a rubber god. We were talking about it early, Zoro being the sword god. They had said something in the story about other types of gods too. And so I just think that there are doors open that involve the Void Century that you can't write anything off. Because like now we're entering a territory towards endgame, and we're entering a territory where they get closer and closer to Nico Robin deciphering the poneglyphs, which will lead to the Void Century. Teach being the dark god in some way, which we talked about earlier too. Like, I just think that there's too many, and the fact that his like he now has 2 devil fruits, right? Which is crazy, but like, it's just there's too many things to point that Luffy is not going to just automatically become so OP that he just washes everybody. Like, there are people that are like he's beating the shit out of Kaido now, especially in Gear 5. Like Kaido doesn't stand a chance now. Especially he was barely standing a chance. I mean, he beat him, but it wasn't because he beat him because he actually beat him. He beat him because the CP9 agent stepped in. Okay, because like Luffy was starting to work that motherfucker. So the fact that he's working Kaido like this, Kaido's not endgame. Big Mom is these 2 characters have been established that they will not be endgame. Okay, Shanks, I think Shanks is extremely strong. I would say Shanks is probably stronger than Kaido and Big Mom, and that's probably why they cut him off. but I think Shanks is also imperative to the progression of the story in terms of the fact that he served on Goldie Roger. Yeah, yeah. The fact that he served on Goldie Roger's ship, okay, and not just that. Then now he's also a Yonko, and who knows what he's done? Like everything that he does is so secretive. You rarely hear about him. We've barely seen any screen time of him. Uh, Sometimes he's having conversations with people in secret, and the conversations are like so. There's too much on the table involving Shanks and what Shanks could really be, in my opinion, in terms of his importance of the story. Because like obviously he doesn't have a devil fruit, but we don't know anything else besides that. We know that he was a very strong swordsman. That was like the only person that rivaled Mihawk, right? So there's that. Um, my idea of plot twist is somebody is the Earth God and somehow changed the land and created the Red Line. That one we don't know who he is yet. I mean, again, like this is what I mean. Like going forward now we're getting into territory. Like we're getting into some crazy territory. I don't know if there will be gods, but we talked about it earlier. Like I think this leaves the door open now where devil fruits could be extensions of gods that existed during the Void Century. And we talked about how similar to like Naruto with Chakra Tree and everything else, that like during that Void Century and why they want to keep the information and all this other kind of stuff is like it's something really important happened. And the crazy war that occurred, eliminating races on races probably. So you guess Shanks is what? Who's that? I don't know what that is. Hold up. What is this? Hold up. Hold on. What's that? Oh, you mean like okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't I remember the title. So you think that Shanks is also a noble, similar to Doflamingo. I could I could believe it, but the thing that would make it hard for the Shanks one is because he served on the ship as a kid, right? With Gold D. Roger, right? Where would he have gotten what?
None.
Where would he have gotten to be in contact with Shanks and then you know what I mean? So no, I'm not saying that devil fruits were once humans. I'm saying that they were once that devil fruits were the abilities that the devil fruits allow you to wield were once abilities of gods. Oh, I guess it could have been after the God Valley incident, but isn't Doflamingo much? I mean, I guess maybe they could be the same age actually. I mean, I'm not aware of their ages, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, and if Shanks was also the son of some, but also there's a theory that Shanks is like Rox's kid, um, the pirate Rox. I mean, I don't know if that's true. I just know that there's a theory. I saw some shit about that, but just that phrase. I didn't actually read into it or anything. But I mean, it could also be that he's a celestial dragon. And again, going forward, now that Marine government is surrounding Wano, we need to see who's going to show up. Somebody's going to show up. Whether it's Dragon, whether it's Sabo, whether it's Shanks, somebody's going to show up. Yeah. Or Luffy's you know, the final thing that I'll talk about here going forward from Luffy's Devil Fruit that could be what occurs is that Luffy beats Kaido, beats like Kaido like just knocks him out, clears that, and then handles the world government himself that have surrounded him in Gear 5. And nobody shows up. He just handles them himself. And then they run into somebody after. or they get tracked down by someone after, like Shanks or something. No, I could yeah, no, facts. The fact that Shanks was able to walk up into the no, and interrupt the meeting and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I definitely do could see the idea of him being a celestial dragon, or a part of that lineage. I could see it. I could see it. And the fact that he treats people the way that he treats people, and he has the perspectives that Shanks has shown that Luffy liked so much, and learned from. Luffy learned from it. That scene in the bar. So yeah. But Terrell, you have any closing remarks? Anything that you want to say, possibly about going forward, or just anything that you want to talk about, or anything before?
No, I think we covered everything.
Okay. I see the idea of here the son of Zebek. It's not possible because of that. Wait, what? I don't understand what that sentence kind of broken. Can you reword it, please? Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, if he was the son of Rocks, then yeah, maybe that would be the case too. That he would have been like gone after the same way that they went after Ace's son. Yeah, I could see that. But okay, all right, guys. We went for 3 hours. I was not gonna go for 3 hours. This was not supposed to be a 3 hour video. Or 3 hour anything really. So I'm gonna call it there, guys. I really appreciate all of you being here. Discussions were good. I think me and Terrell went over quite a bit. I'm gonna have to go through it and see how we chop it up and put it on YouTube. It's gonna be broken up to a bunch of different parts, different sections, depending on what we were discussing and how we went about discussing it. So
What?
Julian, thank you for the follow. We might do a short video. Well, not might. We're gonna do a short video when the new chapter drops, and we'll end up discussing it when the new chapter drops. Appreciate you coming, Julian. Appreciate the follow, bro. So when the new chapter drops, we'll do another we'll hop on stream and we'll discuss it, and we'll see what was given to us, if there's that much. If there wasn't that much, I mean, we'll talk about it, but it's not gonna be like this long because like there's not as much to talk about, right? But depending what gets revealed, we'll then base what we end up doing next time. There will be other series I will be talking about, a lot of other series that I'll be talking about. I don't know if I'm always going to be talking about it with Terrell, because Terrell doesn't like read everything that I read or that I'm going to read.
I don't read mid.
No, he just reads like 2 things because he can't really read too much.
Wait, what do you mean I can't read too much?
So anyway,
what are the two things I read?
I'll probably be doing some webtoons, actually quite a bit of webtoon type series.
Oh, here we go. Solo leveling mid.
I don't know why you're mentioning solo leveling. Always talking about solo leveling. Shut up.
I'm the high lead. I was the hive leader.
Yeah, you keep dreaming, buddy. So anyway, appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Love you guys. Peace out. Have a good night.